Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. My name is Joel Moran and I'm here with River Brown, Andrew Velez, and Joe Dehls. And this is episode 264. In this episode, we're going to be talking about top prospects in March Madness, debate if the Kings can make a deep playoff run, Andrew Wiggins' absence, Pelicans Zion question, naming head coaches on fraud watch, the close MVP race, and Evan Mobley's growth. How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing great now. Baez just hit a home run. We're up 3-0 in the fucking first, baby.
I feel amazing. I feel ecstatic. Just happy to be here.
I'm glad, bro.
I'm giddy as hell right now. Let's go.
How do you feel, Dehls?
I've had better days, a little under the weather. I slept weird on like my neck. My neck feels bad. Just one of those days. Got FDU playing today, though. We're for FDU playing Purdue. They're up by 1 right now.
They're down by 1. Yeah, they're down by 1.
How are you, Joel?
I'm doing good. I don't know if it's just me, but you guys sound awfully loud right now.
Is the chat saying that we sound loud?
I'm not sure.
I don't feel like I sound loud.
Maybe it's just because my ears are just unclogged now.
Why do you say that?
I've had a lot of wax in my ears over the past couple of weeks.
And they got removed?
No, they didn't get removed, but maybe
You got
that's
cleaned
why.
out?
I don't know.
That-
Maybe
that's
they
what
just
I'm-
fell out of
you-
the shower.
Ah.
I'm not sure.
So you're just hopeful.
Yeah, the other day my left ear was clogged and stuff. You know, there was a point in time where I did this podcast for like a year, and my ear, like one of my ears, was clogged.
Oh,
Like
really?
fully clogged?
Yeah, it's like
You know what's funny? You
it
say
hurt.
that, bro. I feel like something's going on in my left ear. It hurts like hell.
Really?
Like I feel like I have an ear infection. It hurts that bad.
Oh wow.
But we've been champing.
So now, to start things off, little intro before we get into the show. First of all, make sure you guys like and subscribe to the podcast. Make sure you guys really hit that like button, though, because we try to get these full episodes to spread like crossfire. You know, the other day I was looking.
Wildfire.
I say, what is Crossfire?
The other day I was looking at some of our old episodes, and it turns out our Matt Ryan benched full episode is at like 75,000 views right now.
That was a great episode.
Really?
Yeah.
That was
And
Sunday.
I was reading the comments, and the comments are just like, Joel makes excuses for Zach Wilson left and right. It was right around the time Zach Wilson, I think, was on the hot seat as well.
We're spazzing. Another homer.
Damn.
I could honestly turn this game off right now for a little while.
You should.
That's one of my
4-0
favorite
lead?
TikToks we have.
You should pay
The
attention.
Matt Ryan
The
bench.
Matt Ryan
Oh really?
one.
Oh
Yeah.
really, Mister? I watch the Warriors and the Clippers while we record.
They're not playing.
I'm
right
not going to mention anyone else because no one else is calling me out right now. But God forbid, I'm watching my country, my island, Puerto Rico, have success in the World Baseball Classic, and I need to lock
now. We're on the
in.
basketball show.
All right,
I
and
think
So
what
it's
River's
about
trying to
college
say.
basketball? Okay.
I think what River's trying to say, and you know, I understand that you just called them out and watching Warriors games, but Dehls and I, we practice what we preach, and we feel like the audience deserves our undivided, full 100%
Fact.
attention.
that's some bullshit.
Fact.
And
And
that's
now,
what we
all right.
are about.
Sorry,
I'm
Ray.
saying-
No, I just said I put them. I'm not calling them out because they didn't call me out. But here we are. Mr. watches the Celtics all the time while we record.
Basketball.
Mr. watches anything that he has a bet on while we're
Basketball.
recording.
He's watching like Wizards.
Have
Bulls
you ever
games.
seen the continuous what's going on? Basketball.
It's the
On
World Baseball Classic.
a
This is
basketball podcast.
once every 3 years.
You want to know what's the difference, though? The difference is that if we watch it, we keep it very low.
I'm sorry.
You're
This
screaming
is the
this
whole-
shit.
He is screaming.
Yeah. Hollering
We're
and
up
shit.
4-0 in the
Cheesing.
first quarter. I'm elated. Can you even spell elated?
I can.
Try.
ELATED.
Don't
Oh, that's all
Oh,
right. Cool. All right. I had to think about that
I
shit
thought
for a
it might
minute.
have been a double L.
Yeah, it's like some
some
trickery going on, but now we're good. Lock in.
So today we have Boom Fantasy picks, and I'll go with mine first. I'm going with Jabari Smith Jr. over 14.5 points.
He's been tweaking.
He has
I'm going to mention him more thoroughly in this week in the NBA. But Jabari Smith has been playing really well. 14.5 feels like a very doable line. And that's what I'm going with. How about you, Riv? What's your line for today?
Is this the one I sent you earlier?
Yes.
Yes. So I'm going Darius Garland over 7 assists.
I like that one too.
Yes, sir. I'm locked in, and I feel like I got to catch up to you. 'Cause you in
You
sights
guys
right
are
now.
all 2 games.
2 games?
Yeah, he's.
And
2
I already
games
said it.
above
Next tomorrow,
Drew.
We
me
don't
and
say
Riv, no picks.
No picks?
All right, it's you on your own. You're putting your own picks, so that way we have the same
we
amount.
have more
We have
games.
one more game than him for whatever reason. I don't
Oh,
know why.
okay. All right.
Well, I was under the assumption, I don't think I told you this out loud, but weekends, no picks. during the week we do picks. Weekend, Saturday,
All right,
Sunday,
no,
let's
fine.
take a break.
Really?
No, if that exists, whatever.
It's
New to
news
me.
I don't
But
know.
hey, Monday we got the day off.
Okay.
Monday we got the day
It's
off.
just Saturday and Sunday. I don't like waking up like, I gotta do these picks, bro.
Oh, okay. I genuinely didn't know we didn't do it on
He's
weekends.
capping his ass off.
Okay.
I feel like we do picks.
Anyways,
I thought we did.
my Boom Fantasy selection today, Trey Murphy Jr., 15.5 points. He's been spazzing recently. They've been given a little bit more
They suck.
opportunity. They're playing the Rockets. I don't see why not.
Rockets been cooking up.
They fake
They
out.
Beat
have
the
been.
Lakers, beat the Celtics.
So
They dead beat both teams. That
Yeah.
was crazy. Yeah. And,
I was in the most pain I've been in a while.
At least you could say you didn't have AD.
I
We
know,
don't have
but
anything to say.
I was in pain during that
we
Clippers
gave
game.
up 56 points in the pain in the first half.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Nah, I was hurting so bad.
We ruined the Steph masterclass the other day.
Yeah,
so I was
50
in-
ball.
Yeah, I
That
was
was a
in pain.
silver lining.
He was fucking. Oh my god.
No, he was-
80% from the field.
Yeah, bro. It was fucking. He didn't miss.
I was on
22
Boom
for
Fantasy
27.
today while I was placing the Jabari bet. And I saw the promo that Boom Fantasy had for today. It actually involves your favorite player, Jason
We
Tatum.
got two promos going on right now. Actually,
Mm,
we
okay.
have a Jason Tatum promo. So it's only for today, Friday, March 17th. Any
Because
entry,
it's St. Patrick's Day?
yeah, any entry on Tatum, if it loses because of Tatum, you get your money back up to $10. And then also if you place a college basketball entry today and tomorrow, for I think just $10+, you get a $20 bonus.
Listen, I think Tatum one is excellent because he's somebody that sells
Okay.
consistently.
He's been struggling mightily after the All-Star
He
break.
sells consistently.
He's banged up too. He's got a hip injury he's dealing with.
Wrong time. to be
Gobert
dealing
did
with
some
stuff.
Gobert is doing some weird shit in that last Timberwolves
Wrong
game.
time to be dealing with some stuff, Dehls. I'm going to tell you that.
Not
wrong,
ideal.
wrong
Not
time.
wrong.
But yeah, Jason Tatum today only, risk-free pick. Make sure you guys go tune in with Boom Fantasy. There's some games on. You guys can bet on college basketball, on NBA tonight. Make sure you guys tune in and use code PAS. And on Sunday, we'll be live on playback watching a March Madness game, Baylor versus Creighton. We're not sure what time that is yet, but on playback, it's currently scheduled as the Nets and Nuggets game. So once Sunday comes, we'll reschedule it to Baylor and Creighton and watch the March Madness. Keontae, Georgia player I've been telling River about since the start of the college basketball season. And we'll watch some college basketball with you guys and see, see if Keontae George puts on the show. See if Keontae puts on the show.
Yo, this E-Day fella, huge.
7'5".
That's
You see how he
ridiculous.
can't move, right?
But
No.
he's a massive human being.
Yeah, no, 7'5", you're in college, you're 9 times out of 10 probably dominating.
Yeah.
He cannot move up and down the
What
court.
year is he?
Should be year 3 or year 4.
You weren't high on Taco Fall?
No. He
Who
also he was 7'5". Look how they move.
This is not right.
Yeah, NBA, he ain't gonna be able to.
That's
lie.
why Victor's crazy.
Victor's nuts because he can move.
Yeah.
Listen, this dude's different. I think Zach's taller than Victor though.
An inch, yeah.
Yeah.
Victor's 7'4", isn't he?
Some shit like that. Long arms, you know.
Now, before we start, let's read some super chats.
Allegedly 7'5".
NPC Santos, $2.
Santos.
Our goat.
Where's the AD jersey, Drew?
Oh, I folded. I didn't bring it.
Oh my
I
god.
folded so bad.
bro.
It had to
First
be
time?
you. It had to be you.
And to let you guys know, you can see this is jersey right here behind me. Michael Kidd Gilchrist.
Joel
this
picked it.
jersey is
Nasty
up
work.
there because it's an honor of Michael Jordan selling the majority of his stake of the Hornets.
Try for the best.
So one of the worst picks he's ever made, Michael
that
Kidd
one's-
Gilchrist.
Who
We're
got
honoring
picked
Michael
after him?
Jordan's GM legacy.
Who got picked after Michael?
Bradley Beal.
All right, yeah.
It was the third pick.
That's
And
nice.
Otto Porter was number
All right,
4.
that's whatever.
I believe.
The Bradley
No,
one.
no. I'm thinking of a different draft. Oladipo was 4.
Ah,
I'm pretty sure.
I mean, he couldn't really go right anyway.
Bradley Beal would have been huge.
Would have been cool.
I mean, we're talking about Michael Gilchrist right
Yeah,
now.
no,
like,
you know,
anyone would have
Mikey
been better.
killed him.
Oh no, I'm lying. I mixed it up. Number 1 was AD.
Yep.
Mhm.
2 was Kid Gilchrist. 3 was Beal. 4 was Deion Waiters.
Ah.
5 was Thomas Robinson.
Oh.
6 was Dame.
Ah, all right. There's the fucking one.
7 was Harrison Barnes.
All right, that's whatever.
8 was Terrence Ross.
Yeah.
9 was Drummond. 10 was Austin Rivers.
All right, whatever.
11 was Myers Leonard.
Okay, it was literally just Beal and Dame.
Yeah. 12 was Lamb. 13 Kendall Marshall. And
Kendall
14 John
Marshall
Henson.
was a bust.
You know why I remember that draft class too? Because that was the first 2K that you can go number 1 overall.
Really?
That was 2K13.
You can't do it. It's actually crazy now.
Really? Bro, I tried for hours.
You can do everything perfect. You will not go
You
number one.
needed to get a triple. You needed to at least have a double-double if you're a point guard. You needed to have 30 points. You needed to have 10 assists. You needed to have 2 steals and an A+ to go number 1 overall.
And that was
Bro,
tough.
That shit took me a lifetime.
Yeah. Woo!
I never tried hard to go number 1 overall. I
I
just kind of let
just need to get
it
in.
happen. Wow. Now, Tyler Wallace, super chat. Joel, I don't know why you got clowned on Twitter because of the Ant and J-Mac take. They probably won't have the same success, but they could be just as good, in my opinion. J-Mac is more unlikely, but it's not a horrible take at all.
It's just
he donated $50 to defend me.
No, and I respect
Tyler
that.
Wallace is a legend.
He is a legend. He is.
Wait, you got clowned for? I thought you had some people that agree with you.
It had a lot of likes. It had a lot of quote tweets too.
Yeah, it was mostly
everything's been a balance for me lately, bro.
The only
Jokic take was a balance. Everything's been a balance, bro.
Take it. If a tweet gets a lot of love, it does not matter.
Yeah, as long as it gets love, fuck it, right?
That is.
It's not a bad take though.
The only thing that I did not like about it at all.
Let's talk about it.
Hey, you want to compare the start to the career of Ant-Man and Tatum? Fine, because Ant-Man has been special. But what you're doing is disrespecting the development of Jaylen Brown, because we have not seen a development like this in a player in quite some time.
You sure about that?
I'm 100% positive about that.
It's mostly the success I have an issue with.
No,
Obviously the situation that the Jays were in is obviously better. Like they had vets year in and year out, whether it was Kyrie, IT, whoever. It's just the success they've had, multiple conference finals. They just went to their first finals at 24, 25 years old. So individual players like Ant is obviously a freak. And he, especially this year defensively, he's turned up on a different level, and offensively, we know his game. So I could see that. Jaden McDaniels, that's the more stretch out of the two, because Jaylen Brown has turned into a 27 point per game scorer. Like he's turned into, I know the defense. Isn't here this year, but we know he can be one of the better two-way players in the league.
I'm about to defend this case, and I just want to say this first of all. Jaylen Brown was a 3rd overall pick.
For sure.
So what he is now is kind of like...
what was expected almost.
I mean, she's expected to be an all-star player. He's a top 5 pick in the NBA draft. We've seen players develop like that before. Brandon Ingram's not far off. Brandon Ingram is a guy who won MIP after not being great with the Lakers and then with the Pelicans. I think Jaylen Brown's better than Brandon Ingram, but he's somebody that definitely deserves some respect in this category.
Not everyone.
I don't think it's rare what we've seen from Jaylen Brown. I think that we can acknowledge that he has developed, but I wouldn't classify it as rare. Now, the reason why I said Anthony Edwards and Jaden McDaniels have a similar ceiling to Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown is because year 3 Ant-Man versus year 3 Jason Tatum, their stats are similar across the board. Year 3 Jaden McDaniels and year 3 Jaylen Brown, their stats are similar across the board. I understand with the Celtics, you have to use some context because they were playing behind some vets, Kyrie Irving, Gordon Hayward. I understand that 100% completely. But with the Wolves, I feel like Jaden McDaniels, this is his first opportunity. Last year, he came off the bench. This year is his first year as a starter. And Jaden McDaniels, in his first year as a starter, has shown offensive improvement month by month since the start of the season. He's already an all-world defender. And his offensive bag is not limited. I feel like when you watch Jaden McDaniels play, he can string together some dribble combinations that you're like,
it's not
wow,
Jaylen Brown's though.
There is something here.
Jaylen Brown's bag is kind of nuts, and I'm not a Jaylen Brown fan, but his bag is indeed nuts.
He's been better than Tatum second half of the season, pretty easily too.
Yeah, I know. I hear that too, of course.
Yeah, I don't know where it came from.
But year 4 is when Jaylen Brown took that leap into becoming a 20-point per game scorer. So if you want to, match it, next year is going to have to be the year McDaniels takes that leap. And I don't know if he's going to be able to. And it's not all his fault because he's going to have Ant-Man over him. He's going to have Cat over him. So it's going to be harder, I think, for him when Jaylen Brown is just going to be the second option.
I just think, Ant-Man is going to be just as good as Jason Tatum, if not better.
That one, all right. That one was fair. I don't know about better, but because Tatum's ceiling is top 5. So how much better can you really be than that? They probably have the same ceiling. So I think that one was more fair. The Jaden McDaniel one, I think, is interesting.
And Ant-Man's locked in on defense a lot quicker and sooner than Tatum has.
Yeah, it's different. I don't know. I think I wouldn't even say that either. I think Tatum was locked in when he first came into the league. He just wasn't as good as Ant-Man was.
He wasn't as
defensively.
big too. He just got stronger.
But he's
throughout.
been locked in. With Jaylen Brown and McDaniels, I guess that's more of the interesting conversation because I think Edwards and Tatum, you can easily say they probably have around the same ceiling. But with those two, Jaylen Brown and McDaniels, McDaniels, can he reach that ceiling? Can Jaylen Brown reach a ceiling higher? It's still questions for both guys because Jaylen Brown has a lot to work on. Jaden McDaniels also has a lot to work on. So it's like that
Does
one's
Jaylen
more
Brown
of
have a lot to work
that
on.
playmaking stinks. Inconsistency on defense, his off-ball defense needs
The
work
defense,
on.
enough of that. I'm tired of hearing it. I don't care
I
how
think he's
bad
going to
it's
lock
been.
in playoffs.
That's
He's
all
shown
that
he's shown
matters.
flashes
It
this year
doesn't. That excuse makes sense for a 30-year-old that's a defender, but he knows the playoffs is the only thing that matters. Jaylen Brown's young. He's a young player. A young player not locking in the season is a weird thing. It really doesn't happen.
People like to exaggerate the fact that he's not this prolific scorer, so now he's deciding to be a prolific scorer.
Oh
and
yeah,
it's
but
taking
it's
a toll on his defense.
Yeah, he hasn't been consistent
But
on defense this year.
come
And he's not
postseason
good
time-
off. He's never been good off ball. Defensively, he's never been good off ball. He has some things he has to.
All
work
I'm
on.
saying is that year 3 Jaylen Brown, we're not thinking of him doing this like that.
No. But that's why the year 4 is when he had the explosion.
Yeah, year 4 McDaniels could be something
No,
similar.
let's
He's got
see
to
it.
average
Let's
20.
see it. He's got to turn into Jaylen Brown.
I think, and it's possible.
I'm sorry.
It's
Do you
possible.
think Jaden McDaniels could be a top
sorry.
20 player in the NBA?
He could be a top 25 player. I think.
I think
I
Jaylen
think that
Brown's a
this.
top
I think
20
that
player
this
in the
wing
NBA.
duo has a high ceiling, and people were
Will they
like,
have the success the Celtics have?
"All right, now the
Answer honestly.
success." I guess not, but I don't measure players by that type of thing. Is that you?
No, it's 100% my watch. I was clearing it from water. Sorry, y'all.
Oh my goodness!
Sorry,
Today's
my
just a mess.
Baseball, you're just
Bro,
embarrassing us.
My wheel.
Just
It
stop.
was hard to turn.
I don't measure players by that, like a success like that. I don't personally,
Why?
because I don't think that it matters much in this type of conversation.
I feel like winning is pretty important when you're talking about a duo in the NBA.
What was your tweet word for word exactly then?
They have a similar ceiling as Jason Tatum.
If you
and
want
Jaylen
to just
Brown.
talk about just like NBA
for
players, but I feel like a lot of why people have been hyping up Tatum and Brown is because they succeeded so early on.
Yeah, but also you can also in the first playoff run when Tatum was a rookie, he was the best player for
Yeah.
sure.
Mhm.
Jaylen Brown was not the second best player consistently.
For sure.
It was a combination of guys like Rozier
was definitely the second
and
best.
Brown. They had their games, and then in the bubble, Kemba Walker was the second guy, not Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, but it's Kemba. He was always inconsistent.
But he was the
Defensively,
second guy. He was
Basically,
averaging
it's always
20.
somebody. It was always somebody.
So
in
I'm saying
front.
that there was only one year where definitively Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown were the duo, and they made the finals. Credit to them definitively. But the years before, they were on the same team, but they were not a duo.
Yeah,
They were not.
I can
that.
agree with that.
Like for example, 4 years ago, if you would have said Tatum and Brown have a similar ceiling to Kawhi and PG in 2019, that's a hot take too.
Probably
And now we're looking at it like
because of
saying,
the second guy.
Yeah, now we're looking at it. We're saying, oh, Tatum and JB, they're actually on that type of level. I just think Ant-Man legitimately has potential to be a top 5 player in the NBA, even higher, to be honest. I think his ceiling is off the charts. And I think McDaniels, the offensive improvement I've seen from him, I think he can reach that type of level.
I don't think it was clear that Kemba was. There was really Tatum was number 1 in that bubble, and then Brown and Kemba were 2A, 2B type of situation.
Now, Blake Bass donated $20. Shout out to Blake Bass. Just got out of the gym and had to catch the podcast live. Shout out to you, Blake.
Shout out, Blake. Absolutely. I had to look up the stats real quick because you said 2019. If you would have said that about the Celtics duo being on PG and Kawhi, people would have looked at you like you had 6 heads. But I'll say this: Jaylen Brown averaged 22 points in the playoffs.
That was his facts. Kemba averaged like 19.5, 20, something like that.
Jaylen Brown was definitely
He was
better
he
this
was more
past
efficient
season,
too.
but-
That's that playoff run.
Well, he's trending in the right direction for sure, but I still think it would have been a hot take. I don't think it's hot as a take as Ant-Man and McDaniels, but
No,
really,
it would have been a hot take because people held Kawhi to Jesus Christ standard. Because even when we had the conversation of Tatum
Last
and
year.
Kawhi, people had a stroke about it. So
Mhm.
I think it would have been a little more drastic. But at least here in this conversation, the Tatum and Ant-Man isn't the strong statement because we understand the potential of Ant-Man. The strong statement, to me at least, is Jaylen Brown and Jaden McDaniels. That's where I
McDaniels
have the
has taken a
issue,
huge
majority.
but McDaniels can take that huge leap, I believe. He's 22 years old.
shown great
He has-
upside already.
he
I'm
has-
not going to.
he-
The
he's
defensive
shown-
aspects are most definitely there.
I think he should be first team all defense this year.
Okay.
I think he should be first team all defense.
There's a lot of great defensive players, but
There's a
I mean,
ton.
he's been one of them, no
He's a
doubt.
forward, right? That's gonna
Yeah.
be tough.
It is.
I think he should be first team all defense, and offensively, I know it's not much, but in
Is
the month of
Tatum
March,
squeaking
he's
in
averaging
a
13.
defensive team.
He better God not.
No, he shouldn't.
Better not. No,
Why?
no
Tatum's
disrespect to
great.
Tatum.
What are you
There's a lot of
saying?
Evan Mobley's a forward.
Okay.
Jared Jackson Jr. is a
Giannis
forward.
is getting it.
Giannis is a
Yes,
forward.
okay.
McDaniels is a forward. Like there's not even no disrespect
They've
to Tatum.
listed Bam as a forward before.
See, like no disrespect to Tatum. It's just a
There's
lot of guys.
There's a lot.
that's just gonna be
Is
a
Dylan
So you
Brooks on
guys-
this weekend? No way.
So what you're telling me is that you guys are all okay with the Ant-Man and Tatum comp.
I'm not okay with it. Where I still feel like Tatum, but it's understandable.
Wait, you don't think Anthony Edwards is going to reach that ceiling?
Do I think he's gonna reach that ceiling? I don't know. It's tough because
It's-
Tatum actually is there.
Yeah,
He's
bro.
done
And,
it.
and when you're talking about
Edwards is
guys,
averaging 25.
when you're talking
and
about
it's
guys that are
savage.
top 10, you have to win, bro. I'm sorry, you cannot be losing the first round,
Except
being
that
a
one guy.
play-in. You have to be able to win.
Anthony Edwards is going to win.
What?
Anthony Edwards is quite literally
Okay,
a winner.
That's
Win what?
fine.
The Timberwolves
Not
just
yet.
made the playoffs last year.
Wait.
Didn't
He's
they
been
choke
holding.
it?
He's been holding the Wolves afloat.
Tatum
this-
just went to
this
the finals,
upcoming
bro. I
season.
don't think you want
That's
to go into
why,
the
like, you need-
conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like,
If you're a top 10 guy,
Tatum
you
went
get
to
held
3
to that
straight
standard.
Yeah.
ACFs.
Also, year 3 Tatum, year 3 Edwards. Edwards is better. It's no doubt.
different
Defensively and offensively.
situations. I don't. Listen, I'm not. I don't have a problem with the Edwards. I think Edwards and Tatum is less of a hot take than what Tatum and Kawhi was at the time.
Correct.
No,
Kawhi-
I mean, no.
what-
Stamped.
Yeah.
Edwards will be as good or
No,
better than
and
Tatum.
I'm-
That's stamped.
I'm with you because
That's stamped. That's
That's-
stamped.
can't-
You're
I
gonna
can't-
mail it.
That's
I
stamped in the
can't
Joel
get behind
Moran
that.
That's
world.
stamped.
What do you say?
He said it's stamped that Ant's gonna be just as good or better than Tatum.
That's stamped.
It's possible. I don't
No,
think you
We're
could,
talking
I
about,
don't
bro.
think you could lock that
Tatum
in.
right now is in
hasn't-
his 6th season. We're talking
Tatum-
about
Tatum's-
Ant-Man 3 years from now, bro. Imagine how good he's gonna be.
Wait, but do you know Tatum hasn't reached his prime yet?
He's
And-
25.
I'll be honest with you. I'm actually genuinely scared of what Tatum's prime is
I
going
know.
to look
Tatum
like.
hasn't reached his prime, correct? So he's in the middle of it right now.
No,
Like, he's
not
in the middle
even,
of
no.
reaching it.
He is
He's still
literally
climbing.
2 to 3 years away from the best version of Tatum. He's a top 10.
So where
player
is he
now.
right now? What I'm saying, if you were to describe it in a word,
I don't know what the
like
word
he's
is.
in the middle. Like
He's
okay,
rising. He's rising.
He's before.
Let's say his prime is the 3rd floor. He's on the 2nd floor right now.
Okay, sure.
Correct.
Okay, yeah, okay, that's fine.
Edwards is still on that 1st floor.
Okay.
He's not like he's gonna get to the 2nd floor.
But do you not understand Tatum's 2nd floor is a top 7 player in the world?
You do not understand that the 1st floor for Edwards is 25 a game with great defense.
Tatum's average is 30.
It gives you really
Edwards
good
is
defense.
Can I
5
ask you a
points
question?
off from that.
Tatum is
5
also a
points
better
is
pl-
pretty huge.
What is Ant-Man right now? A top what player?
He's a top 25 player, stamped.
Oh, I was going to give
So,
you a little more.
so
than
we
that.
have Jalen Brown. You have Jalen Brown as a top 20
Ant-Man
player.
is better than Jalen Brown, by the
Okay,
way.
so then all right.
Let's
So,
just make it
so,
clear.
so is
Right
Ant-Man,
now.
is Ant-Man a
Right now,
top
I
20
think
player?
You should push that.
Yeah, I think he is.
I think there's no
yeah,
problem with
wouldn't be
that.
mad
yeah.
at
I wouldn't be mad at
I
it.
really don't know who
Ant-Man or Zion?
Ant-Man,
I'd rather have Ant-Man.
Anthony Edwards,
I think I feel like you should push that top 20. Push it. But Tatum's 2nd
Pascal
floor is top
Siakam,
8.
Anthony Edwards. I think it's Edwards quite easily.
I would take Ant.
I would go Ant. But I'm just saying, like Tatum's 2nd floor
I
is
like
top 8 in the
Pascal,
world. So his
but I
first
think
floor,
it is
his,
Ant.
his like Tatum's peak is going to be nuts, bro. Like it's going to be the
yes,
same. Like,
Edwards' peak is gonna be nuts
yeah,
too. bro.
I get your glossing, your cheesing about that, but do we not understand what Tatum has done in his career so far is kind of crazy. Like for a young player, like this is no regular peak we're talking about. This is a Jason Tatum like peak. It's going to be extremely, extremely high. Like,
Bro, what we've seen from Edwards is not regular either. I hope you know that.
I mean, we
Like,
all right,
bro,
but-
I'm not saying Tatum is not amazing. I know Tatum is amazing. But when looking at Anthony Edwards, I retweeted some propaganda, and I'm trying to find the tweet because it was a very great tweet.
What's the tweet? What's the
Players
tweet?
with 4,500 points before turning 22 years old:
I don't-
Edwards, LeBron, Carmelo, Kevin
I
Durant.
don't really care about that.
What do you mean? That's elite company. That's
That
literally
is,
elite
but I'm
company.
sure a few people could have been in injuries, all that. I don't, and then coming in, I don't really.
Tatum was
I
also
don't-
average 23. He had Hayward was there.
I
He was
will
healthy
say
that
that- Some
season.
people's
Kemba
situation a
was
little
there.
different,
He
but-
was healthy
That
that
moves me
season.
because back in the day, there was a stat that was like
Mhm.
quickest to 7,000 points. I think I could be wrong about the
Devin
number.
Booker's on that list.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
And that's why I say I'm moved by that because I was moved by Devin Booker being in the company
You have to stay
of
consistent.
Kevin Durant and LeBron James. So absolutely, you're mentioned with 3 of the best scorers of our generation. It has to move you.
That's all
There's
right.
no doubt. But
Everybody-
all
Anthony
I'm
Edwards
saying-
is savage.
He's no.
I just acknowledged Tatum and the success that he's had. Also, he's made it to the NBA Finals. He made it to 4 ECFs at this point right now.
Yeah, there's no doubt. But Tatum right now, we have to understand is Ant-Man is 3 years away from
No
that.
doubt. That's why I'm not mad at
How
him.
old is Ant-Man?
I'm not mad at him.
21 years old.
He is 21.
He's 21, averaging 25 a game, bro.
He's stupid.
With
He's
two
so good.
two stocks a game.
He's
like-
unbelievable. His defense is crazy. The motor he has is crazy.
Tatum
His
was
athleticism is
21 years old,
crazy.
averaging 23
7 and 3,
2.5
with steal.
stocks per game.
same
Yeah,
with-
Edwards stats at
Kemba-
21 or better.
with Kemba averaging 20, with
Then he
Jalen
went to-
averaging
then
20,
he went to
with
the
Hayward averaging
playoffs.
17.
He went to the playoffs, his third playoffs at 21 and averaged 26 points a game.
It was
Edwards in his
freaking-
first playoffs averaged
Carl
25.
Anthony Towns going to ruin what
26
Anthony Edwards
10,
has
and
going on
5.
Edwards
right
is
now.
going to do what he does. It doesn't matter.
You're sure about that?
I'm sure.
It's not crazy.
Edwards averaged
but
25.
it's not
Edwards averaged
stamps.
20,
That's
25
crazy.
in his first playoff series.
Yeah,
Bro.
no, he had to backpack because Carl Anthony Towns
Yes.
was poopy.
Like, bro, let's just put this in perspective.
Tatum averaged 26 to a run to a ECF
As a
Scored
rookie,
50
as his
against a
third
team
year.
that
Okay,
only lost
third
3
year.
games.
As a
Is-
rookie,
is
as a
Ant
rookie,
doing that next
as
year?
his rookie, he led him to the ECF.
he averaged 18.
But he led him to the ECF. We knew who's the best player.
Okay, we know, but Edwards in his first
Yeah,
playoffs
his first
averaged
round.
25.
In the
It
first round,
lost,
you have to
though.
add contact. First
Did
round,
lose.
yes. What's more
They should
important?
have
What's
beat
more
Memphis.
impressive?
They should have beat them.
No, hey,
they
no,
should've
no,
beat
that's
them.
fine, but we're not
hey,
gonna do that.
They should've
Riff,
beat them.
Riff,
Who cares?
let's level, right? They should have beat them.
But they didn't.
But why? They choked terribly.
Anthony Edwards hit a
They
game
should
winning
have
shot.
won, but they were choke
Did y'all
artists.
forget when Anthony Edwards hit a game winning shot in that series, bro?
Did you forget that they blew double-digit leads in multiple games?
Okay, I understand that, but that's not all. That is
I'm
not all
not
fall on
saying
one
that.
player.
I'm just saying, hey, they had a strong
whole
chance
team.
to
I mean,
win,
part
and
of the reason
absolutely
they folded was because this newly found top 10 point guard of yours, D'Lo, fucking need to show up,
Listen,
and now he's better
what
than
you're not-
Dejounte all of a
what you're
sudden.
not going to do is don this top 10 shit on me. We're not going to
Not-
do
not
that.
doing you.
We're no nothing. Absolutely nothing. I can still love D'Lo and not have that bullshit put on me just because Lakers Twitter is horrible.
A super chat just turned into a segment that will be posted on the account. now.
Good.
no
good.
doubt. But all I'm saying
Shout out
is
to
that
Tyler.
D'Lo, I mean, he shit the bed.
He did.
He
And
was
I think
horrible.
He
were
was so
very
bad.
adamant on
No,
him shitting the
he was
bed.
so bad that all me and Riv did was come up on here and say D'Lo was one of the main reasons. They
All I'm
lost the
saying
series.
is that Ant-Man and Tatum is not a gripe. That shit should be given. Like we should look at Ant-Man and be like, yeah, he's gonna be just as good as Tatum. Like, I don't think that's a hot take. That's a lukewarm. That's a dude. That's obvious.
It's lukewarm.
I don't think
Obvious.
we gave
That's
you, I don't think we gave you
obvious.
pushback.
He just said it was stamped.
Yeah, I
that
think
he'll
it
be
is
as good or
stamped.
better.
Bro, I'm mailing it right now.
I'm stamped at. I'm not
stamped.
stamped at the better part. As good, yes, I'm with you. Better, I can't stamp that. Tatum is one of the best players in the league.
And is it going to be Ant is as good as Tatum when he was 25? Because when
We're not playing
Tatum's
that card.
28
Ant-Man or
and
Ja?
Ant's
You know
25,
where I'm going.
is Ant going to be as good as him then?
I mean, that's how it works, bro.
No,
What?
it does not.
No, when
we
we're
don't-
talking about
we don't
top
sit
10
there
players,
and
we're
say,
talking about
"Oh,
top 10
John Moran
players
is
this
better
year.
than what Steph was at this age." No, we compare the player now.
No,
to
I'm
what they
saying
are
no.
now.
What he basically said is that Ant-Man at 24 will probably be just as good, if not better, as Tatum at age 24. But when Ant-Man is 24, Tatum will be
28.
in his prime legitimately.
Yeah.
So Anthony Edwards at 24 will not be better than Tatum when
At
he's
28.
hitting his prime.
That's what I'm saying.
But
Like, I don't think
that's when I said that
there's
should
not
be a
going to be a
given. though.
time in Tatum's prime, most likely, that
I mean, I
Ant's
don't
gonna
know.
be
You
better.
said in
That's the
2-3 years
timeline.
he'll be an MVP candidate.
He can be for sure. I mean, I wouldn't rule it out. I really would not rule it out. Not
let's
one
get, let's
bit.
get some playoff victories
one
in there.
bit.
Let's get some WCF
All right.
appearances.
The
in
Jaden
there.
McDaniels one.
That's
I
the one.
I understand the
Thank you.
pushback, but I believe in McDaniels.
That's why I'm not.
Well, McDaniels is
gave
already
you-
a better defender than Jaylen Brown ever was. So
no doubt.
he's
I've,
it's
I've
nuts.
never had any issue.
Offensively,
That's
though,
why I
there's-
wanted to
okay.
start with it,
It is.
saying Ant-Man and Tatum, understood. But real quick, before we go on to topic one, you said Ant-Man, top 20. Let's go through the obvious. LeBron, KD, Steph Curry, Giannis, Luka, Jokic. That's 6. Did I say Embiid already? That's Embiid. Shea,
Shea's better.
This
Tatum,
year.
going
Tatum's
Tatum,
better.
Donovan Mitchell,
Mitchell's better.
Kyrie Irving.
That's close.
That is close.
That
Kyrie's
is
been
close.
great.
I'm gonna respect Kyrie's resume. I'm gonna go
agree.
Kyrie.
Okay. Ja Morant.
I like Anthony Edwards better than John Moran. I do. He plays both sides.
It isn't crazy.
That's not crazy.
Trae Young.
Anthony Edwards.
That's a tough 15
JB.
at first.
Anthony Edwards. You're running out of names.
I am, because not that many people qualify for points per game this season. No, I mean, listen. I guess
I think
Zion.
I think you should push it. He
Anthony
doesn't
Edwards.
qualify.
Devin
Top
Booker,
20
I
is
think is
calm.
better than Ant-Man right now.
Devin
He's better
Booker,
than Jimmy
that's
Butler.
another one that because they haven't played him in a certain amount of games, they don't qualify.
I would take Ant-Man over Jimmy Butler. I would. I can understand Jimmy Butler having a case though. But what he did in the playoffs is undeniable.
Wait, so why do you respect Kyrie's resume but not Jimmy's?
I agree with that.
Because in the regular season, Jimmy's averaging 21.
Have you seen what Jimmy's been doing this season though?
Oh yeah, he's been great.
He's been crazy.
But Ant-Man's stats are better than Jimmy's this year. I hope you know that.
No, yeah, I
Across
mean,
the board.
Jimmy's not really I think we've noticed Jimmy's not really a regular season type of player.
He doesn't give a shit.
He should. They're 7th.
Yeah, he's got to wake up eventually, right?
You should.
Guess he'll wake up in the play-in.
You should just keep naming names and we just go.
Fox,
All right, I got
Ant-Man.
you.
Ooh, pulling at heartstrings.
Man, this season, I got to go De'Aaron Fox.
Jalen Brunson.
Anthony Edwards.
Making sure.
Kawhi.
Kawhi's been tweaking lately.
Damian Lillard.
Damn.
Yeah, facts. Okay.
James Harden. Cat.
We're like 14 right now.
Anthony Edwards.
Anthony
Hasn't even
Davis.
played enough.
Anthony Davis.
Bradley Beal.
Anthony Edwards.
Paul George.
Anthony Edwards.
That's 20.
15 isn't crazy. Top 15 is not
That's what I'm saying,
ridiculous.
bro. If Anthony Edwards is that right now, you can only imagine what he's going to be.
And you're taking him over Zion? When
I
they're
would.
both on the court, it's Zion.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Right
it.
now,
That's
yeah.
it. That's all I
And
care
we'll talk about the Pelicans later on the show. We're 30 minutes in, so let's get on to the first topic.
We're having fun.
March Madness. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a twist. You know, we usually like doing these drafts, but because in honor of March Madness, we're only going to draft players that are in the tournament, not currently because we know some people got eliminated, but players that made the tournament. So this is March Madness, drafting the top NBA prospects in the tournament. Who has the first pick?
Rock, paper, scissors? Is
Go
that the
with-
vibe?
I mean, the first pick we know will be obvious.
That's facts.
Wait, let's always do rock, paper, scissors. That's how we move.
Rock, paper, scissors, says shoot.
Oh my fucking God.
And I beat you.
Yeah. All right, so 1, 2, and then y'all got to go.
Okay.
Because I beat both of you. Wait, but they beat you.
Wait, no, we all canceled out. We got just
Okay.
No, I beat both of them. This
But
is
we-
how
All
the
right,
kids-
but
we
I
beat
beat
Joel.
you. So,
So-
what if I beat you first?
Let's come on.
Huh?
Because I have more wins. I just beat
Okay,
both
let's
of
go.
them.
Rock, paper, scissors, says shoot.
I literally beat all
All right,
Ah,
we
we
got
got
the
prospect.
number.
Yeah,
Okay.
you guys fucking
right, come on.
suck.
Rock, paper, scissors, says shoot.
Let's go, number two.
Okay, two. Rock, paper, scissors, says shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, says shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, says shoot.
Let's go third. All right, Riv, you got the first pick.
All right.
We're not going to do the draft sound because in the editing process, it's annoying, and I don't want John to deal with that. So with the first pick, Riv, what do you
make
have?
John deal with everything. With the first pick, I think it's pretty obvious. Brandon Miller. I don't think I need to explain too much.
Even though he had
about
a
that.
0-point pooper?
I don't give a fuck about having these 0-point games. He just fits so seamlessly into what. And they have Detroit going number 1. So because I have it up, so I'm just taking Detroit number 1, thinking of it like that. type
Oh,
shit.
I thought we were just doing a
We
draft.
can just do top 12 players.
Oh, okay.
We don't
yeah,
have to do it by
It's
team.
Still the same shit. Brandon Miller,
Yeah.
obviously. It just helps me get a better assessment. So I got Brandon Miller. He's just been the best player in college by far.
Yes.
Been one of the most dominant scorers. His ability to change the game offensively, even when he's taken out of games, defensively, he's been able to lock in and be a good playmaker. So I got him number 1.
All right. So number 2. I'm torn between Kaysen and Jarris. I feel like guards are needed, especially ones that can shoot, can score the basketball. I'm going to go Kaysen Wallace out of Kentucky.
That's hot.
It's not that hot. The only other player that I really was torn between was Jarris, just because he has the size.
Oh,
But he's a power
people,
forward.
there's only people who made the tournament, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's
Yeah.
it. Because the Amon twin,
No, I
the
would've
Thompson
picked
twins.
Whitmore.
Oh no,
Yeah,
but
he
he didn't
didn't
make
make
it.
it.
He didn't
Yes.
make it.
For
Love
me,
seeing their downfall.
Kaysen Wallace, I've been very surprised to see him be mocked as a top 10 pick.
Okay.
I've seen him mocked there. It's not that he's not.
He's a solid playmaker and his efficiency is not horrible.
It's not that he's bad. I think he's going to be an elite point of attack defender at the next level. It's whether his jump shot's going to translate. I don't think he puts enough pressure at the rim. I don't really view him as a modern day point guard. I think he's an old school, old fashioned type of point guard. Like, for example, I don't know how you feel about this, Riv, but if the Orlando Magic are sitting at the 8th overall pick and Kaysen Wallace is on the board, do you draft him over? Do you draft him to replace a Suggs or Bolts?
Wallace isn't the guy you draft. You walk. You let that go.
Like, I don't view Kaysen Wallace as like a franchise point guard. That's kind of what I'm saying, but he is a good player. The third pick, The third overall pick in this March Madness top prospects draft.
Are you going with your brother Anthony?
I'm going with Anthony Black.
Understandable.
He has natural playmaking chops. He's deferred to Nick Smith Jr. and still averaging 13 a game. The jump shot needs to improve. I think his release is a bit slow, but Anthony Black has insane vision, and I think at the next level, he's going to be really good, and he could be a lead guard for a team.
Okay. Fourth pick. Is it pronounced Jarris Walker?
Jarris?
So.
Jarris. I believe
Jarris Walker out of Houston. Mostly known for his defense, as far as I'm concerned. Houston's obviously fantastic this season. He's a big part of it. 6'8", 240. He's going to be able to play some small ball 5 at the next level. Shoots 34% from 3, so could shoot a little bit as well, but mostly going to come into the league and be great defensively, shot blocking, active in the passing lanes, that type of stuff. So won't have the huge impact in stats probably in terms of points per game and stuff like that, but he's going to have a big defensive impact for our team.
Are we doing a snake draft, or are we just going to go right back to Riv?
You want to do a snake draft?
I don't care.
Could do a snake draft.
No, let's do a snake draft.
So I would have the next pick.
Yes. Fifth pick.
Fifth pick. Do I go with my brother Keontae? I think I'll go with Keontae George.
Fuck.
He could be inconsistent at times in terms of his shot selection, but he's a really elite shot maker. He can make tough shots. And he's shown some flashes of being a good passer as well. He's just 35% from threes, averaging 16 right now. He's coming out of Baylor. He's freshman, 19, going to be 20 come draft day, 6'4", 185, listed as a combo guard. So he needs to improve on his shot selection. But in terms of being a tough shot maker and being able to, make hit shots off the pull-up, 3-ball, he already has that in his bag.
It's your pick.
Oh, it is?
It's a snake, bro.
Oh, my goodness. I was looking at Drew. I like that pick.
Who'd you take?
Keontae George.
Keontae
George reminds me
KJ.
of Malik Beasley a little bit.
Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah, he reminds me of Malik Beasley.
Okay.
So next pick, with the 6th overall pick, I'm going with Grady Dick. 6'8", 205 pounds. This guy has a stroke as pure as gold. And he's a sharpshooter. And we saw his game versus Howard. All-around game, rebounded, scored, assists. I think he's going to be a good player at the next level.
All right. I am going to be selecting. I'll be honest. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. You say you call him Flip?
Yeah, because it's Flip. So I just say Kyle Flip.
The way I'm reading it, it says Filipowski. Kyle Filipowski, center out of Duke, 6'11", solid size, 230, obviously has a good amount of weight on him, has been arguably Duke's best player. And really, with the way that they've finally been able to get healthy, was a big reason why I made my bracket. I had Duke going all the way to winning the tourney. They had a great showing yesterday, and Kyle has been the best player for them. And in a league that center really is at a premium rank, really, you really do need a solid center to have some success. You look at Toronto and the way that Jakob Poeltl now being added to that team has kind of changed their offense, changed their defense. Kyle Filipowski could be that guy.
John, that's your guy? Oh, I just saw him go like this when he picked him.
That's not his Walker Kessler.
Oh, okay.
All right, so I'm going back-to-back guards here. I'm going because I got the next 2 picks, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
so I'm going Nick Smith right here. I think his shot selection is iffy.
Would I have gone Kyle on the comeback?
Yes.
Fuck.
You would have got Kyle in the comeback.
Because I just know that we were talking about Nick before, and we weren't happy with him.
Yeah, because his shot selection is a little weird. He takes a lot of tough mid-range shots, takes a lot of tough threes, but his confidence is really high, and his defensive intensity. I like that he buys in. He wants to be a great defender. And then my next guard is Jalen Hood-Scofino. I've been really, really, really high on him. The athleticism is a concern. I don't think he has NBA athleticism, but his feel for the game, his touch for the game, his ability to create shots off the bounce, off the jump. I like that about him. So that's my 2 guards for this.
You like Nick Smith Jr. over Jalen?
No, it wasn't really an order thing. I just picked both of them back to back. I actually like Jalen over Nick Smith.
I do too.
I'm gonna go with my next selection, Chris Murray. Now you could say there's better players, but I'll say this: as a guy who's going to be NBA ready, I feel like Chris Murray is that guy, a guy who has confidence in himself to score the basketball. Although his efficiency has not been great in his last couple of games, he has at least shown confidence to take shots. He was very poor yesterday. I think he was 3 for 13 from 3. But he shows a willingness to just shoot the ball and get the ball into the basket. And I feel like if a team needs an NBA-ready player that could shoot the ball and play some defense, I feel like Chris is that guy.
Okay. What was this, the 10th pick?
It's the 11th pick, and then you have the last
pick?
one. Yeah. The 11th pick.
Oh, sorry,
You're
Europe. My bad.
Chris Murray.
Thank you, Dehls.
You took Chris over Taylor? Hendricks?
UCF's in the tourney.
UCF?
No,
Yeah,
no,
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 I didn't think
facts.
so.
I keep forgetting we're not doing
Now, with the 11th overall pick, I'm taking
That's what's
Dariq
making this
Whitehead.
difficult for me, to be honest with you. I'm trying to stay diligent
Taking
in who
who?
I know.
With the 11th overall pick, I'm taking Dariq Whitehead from Newark, New Jersey, from the state that we're from, 6'7", 220 pounds.
You think he's going to go top 15?
No.
15 to 20.
16 to 25.
16 to 25. Okay.
And I thought last night he showed a lot of good things. I did. I think Dariq Whitehead is a really good player. He has a lot of potential, a lot of upside. So that's how I'm going with the 11th pick.
Okay, that's calm. So last pick, 12th overall, I will be going with Colby Jones out of Xavier. Junior, you like that one? You like that one? That's a ball nowhere pick.
That's a ball fucking nowhere pick.
He's versatile, man.
I'd give it to you.
He's 6'6", 205. He shot 38% from three this past season. He is a junior, so a bit older. He's 21 right now. He'll be 22 come draft day, but he could shoot the three, not on high volume, only 3 attempts per game. Not going to be like a top scoring option probably, but he's a good defender as well, versatile player, high IQ. So I'll go with Colby.
You know, he said he models his game after Malcolm Brogdon.
Stuff.
Yeah, so
He's a great player, man. Start showing some respect to him. You don't respect Malcolm Brogdon. You don't.
I don't respect Derek White.
Him either.
I feel like I've never seen him
I'm
say
cool
anything.
Nah,
negative.
you weren't here. You weren't here last year when he was ridiculing me for saying that he's a very good player.
No, I think I ridicule you for thinking the Pacers were good. And
That too.
Brogdon was on the team.
That too.
I think that's
No
what it
doubt.
was. But when he got traded,
definitely played a
I
part.
actually said Brogdon was a great move.
It was a great move.
Yeah.
It was.
So
Easily.
please, no.
Screw you.
Kobe Jones.
Kobe Jones is good. He's a Josh Hart.
Okay.
He's a Josh Hart-like
that.
player. And you know
Actually, Rib, the Ringer has his shades of Malcolm Brogdon.
Yeah. No, he's very smooth. Very smooth with his game.
I'm excited for this next topic. The Sacramento Kings. Can they make a deep playoff run?
Your Kings.
It's a great
Now,
question.
I've been preparing for this all day long. All day long. This is the first topic I prepared for today. Because the answer is obviously yes. But the fans, the audience, they deserve an answer that's much more deeper than just a yes, Dehls. They deserve an explanation.
That's what we do here.
And you know what? I think I need to do some convincing. I don't know how convinced Dehls is. I don't know how convinced Riv is. I feel Drew teeter in the line.
I thought you were going to respect me, but I guess that's fine too.
But I think it's time to tug Drew in because
Here we
he's
go.
the one closest.
Nice tugging.
Now listen. First of all, shout out to Kings. First winning record since 2006. 42-27 officially. They will have a winning record. Second in the West, 9-2 since the All-Star break, and 22-13 since the start of 2023. I was reading an article from Mark Schindler, who writes for the Uprocks, and the first sentence of his article resonated with me. You want to know what it was, Dehls?
Tell me.
It was, everybody always talks about how the Kings will fail in the playoffs, but nobody talks about how they can succeed.
I agree.
People look at them as an inexperienced team. This
Yeah.
is an easy outing, and I disagree. I think they're going to be one of the toughest playoff teams to bounce out because, let me just get into the explanation. They lead the NBA in offensive rating. They are a historic offense. They have the best offensive rating in NBA history. They're a top 5 transition team. Unlike the Memphis Grizzlies, who are great in transition, but their half-court offense is limited, and that can be exploited in the playoffs, the Kings are top 5 in transition. They're the second best half-court offense in the NBA. Look at De'Aaron Fox in the clutch. 5.2 points per game in the clutch. Steph Curry is the second closest at 4.4. That's a significant drop-off. And then you look at the Kings in the fourth quarter. Offensive rating in clutch time is 129.3. The next closest is the Lakers at 116.9. Now, why will their offense succeed in the playoffs? It's easy. It's not easy to defend. It's not as easy as forcing Sabonis right.
Yep.
I'm sorry, John. It's not. Respect the Kings. I'm looking at you right now, John.
I think Sabonis is going to be one of the 4 players in NBA history to average 17, 12, and 7 assists. I think it's Jokic, Wilt, and him. One other player I'm blanking off the top.
He's
of
an
my head.
elite
Milwaukee?
company.
Maybe I don't.
What was the number again?
It's 17, 12, and 7 assists. I don't know if Wallen ever averaged 7 assists. Off the top of your head, do you know that?
I'll think and I'll let you get back to it.
All
Don't
right.
look it up. Actually, look it up and
I
see,
will.
and then
I will.
I'll think.
What's so special about the Kings offense is that they're not relying on ISOs. They're not. They're relying on ball movement,
Yep.
on player movement, and it's not just one layer of their offense. It's everything that's great. Transition in the half court, running sets, split cuts, which is the hardest action to guard currently in the NBA, pistol sets, dribble handoffs. The constant movement creates consistent opportunities for these players. And these guys are road warriors. I think at home, people are going to want to hate to play them. This is the first time Kings fans are going to experience a playoff game in 16 years. You know how animated they're going to be? You know how hard it's going to be to win in that arena? The Kings have a legit home court advantage, but on the road, they're 10th in defensive rating. They're 5th in net rating. 21-13 record on the road, the best road record in the Western Conference. Now, at home, it's weird because they have the 28th defensive rating at home, but they're 10th on the road.
Magic?
It was Oscar.
Fuck.
Yeah. That would have been a tough guess.
I thought it was Magic.
For me, I look at the Kings. I don't think they're as bad as their 28th defense rating at home or their 10th ranked defense rating on the road. I think they're in the middle. Defensively, they do a poor job at closing out, but they scramble really well. I think they show effort. They rebound the ball. Sabonis leads the NBA in rebounding, and they contest shots. That's one thing they do very well. Now, you mentioned Sabonis, another stat. He has 420 in 20 games this season. Second is Giannis. I've seen this team win so many close games this season. I'd argue they are the most prepared team for the playoffs. Every game this season has been a playoff game for the Kings.
I disagree with that.
Every other game.
Milwaukee's more ready.
Well, of course, they're champions. They're champions. Every other game that the Kings have played has been a playoff game. It's been extremely close. It has been. And you know what? I was doing some research. For one, I want to say this. The way the Kings operate in clutch time is not a fluke. It's precise. They operate with precision.
They do.
They trust what they do, and they succeed at it. Winning these many close games is a skill. The last time a team made the Western Conference Finals with a bottom 20 defensive rating was the 2009-2010 Phoenix Suns. Another offense that for the time was a historic offense with Steve Nash, Stoudemire, and co. The Suns were first in offensive rating, 23rd in defensive rating. In that Suns playoff run, they beat the Blazers in the first round 4-2, who had the 7th ranked offense and the 15th ranked defense. So you could say the Blazers were a more balanced team. Then in the second round, the Suns swept the Spurs. The Spurs had the 9th ranked offense and the 8th ranked defense. The Spurs were a top 10 offense and defense, and the Suns still beat them because they had the best offense in the NBA and still a bottom 20 defense. What this tells me is that outliers exist. If you do something at a historically great level, although their defense could be a concern, they are so good offensively that in the playoffs, it's not going to matter much when it comes to the first round or maybe even the second round. I think the Kings are making the conference finals. I think they will make the conference finals. I think they'll get past the first round. They'll get past the second round. And this team is special. This team is special.
I see you didn't mention that Brandon Roy played 3 games that series.
Look at the Spurs.
Tony
Parker, and Duncan all played.
I like that. You didn't add the context. I had to look that up real quick.
Mr. Context.
Sometimes you gotta get lucky.
Leaving out context.
No, I just wanted to see what team was that, honestly, and then I just seen that he only played 3 games. But nonetheless, still a good win. I just wanted to see what team was that. The Blazers and shit.
Do you want me to talk? Or you go.
Is he done? I
know he's done.
I'm done.
Cooked up.
The Spurs, just letting you know, Duncan, Ginobili, and Parker all played.
No, yeah. I just wanted to see who they played.
Another difference from last year to this year with the Sacramento Kings is that last year they were the second worst 3-point shooting team in the league. Now they're top 5 group. They actually knocked down their shots. One thing you mentioned, they're a well-oiled machine and they're very precise in how they run their offense and how they really try to win a basketball game. We were watching the Knicks game, and De'Aaron Fox really was calm quarters 1 through 3. He really was not doing that much, was not that active. But then quarter 4, when De'Aaron Fox is needed most, he came alive. I think, what did he have? 18 points? Something crazy like that. I remember it was an egregious number. He took over the game. And it's pretty smart that you have arguably the most athletic guy on the court, definitely the fastest guy on the court in De'Aaron Fox. His ability to get to the hole is amazing, really. But he seems to be his most fresh, his most ready in the fourth quarter, and it's been the story all season long, which is why he has been one of the reasons why he's been the most clutch scorer in the NBA. You mentioned it, Domantas Sabonis. I already talked about it a little bit. Domantas Sabonis, one of 4 players in NBA history to average 17, 12, and 7 for a season. Sabonis has been special. Now, let me ask you, was that 20 and 20 the 4 games this season, including last night's?
Correct.
He continues to put on special performance after special performance, and his ability to move the basketball. When you have a big that can facilitate your offense as well, it becomes a luxury. And when Sabonis is as great as he is, one of the second best big men passers in the NBA, and the ball movement is as great as it is for Sacramento, the offense is going to continue to be high-powered. In the playoffs, I don't have a concern about their offense. I will say I am still concerned about their defense. You make a valid point about them probably being somewhere in the middle, but why I'm a little bit more concerned is how can you be worse defensively in your home stadium? Really, your energy should be most in your home stadium. You probably should feel the most locked in your home stadium. For it to be the complete opposite is very mind-boggling to me, to be completely honest with you, and especially in the playoffs where you're going to have home court advantage. Are you going to struggle to play defense in your home court? Is that going to be a problem where home court advantage is not a home court? We know that isn't the issue with Sacramento to a degree because the crowds in the stadium, just the energy in that building is different. This season, they have been one of the teams that fans have rallied around the most. The Kings really have been great, but that defense still is a concern to me if they go up against a high-powered offense. A high-powered offense, but as well as a defense that is still great. You mentioned the Phoenix Suns and the Spurs, no doubt about it. That definitely is understandable to use as a historical reference. But more often than not, we see the complete team win. The luxury here with the Kings is there's no real complete team in the Western Conference. Is there a complete team to you? We look at the Nuggets. Offensively, they're amazing. The second best offensive rating in the NBA. Their defense is fraudulent. No doubt about it. You look at the Phoenix Suns. With Kevin Durant, their offense is going to be amazing, and they will go tit for tat. And I would probably lean Phoenix in a series if Kevin Durant's healthy, regardless. But their defense is still really good. The Suns fully healthy is the one team that I really look at with the Kings, and I'm just like, fuck, I really don't know. Clippers,
Suns with
the
KD.
Suns with KD.
Okay.
Clippers, they're too inconsistent.
Clutch time, they're not good.
And come crunch time, like Riv's alluding to, you can't really rely on them, whereas the complete polar opposite for the Kings, you can rely on them 100% come crunch time. I won't mention every other team. You know I want to talk about the Lakers, but regardless of that, but to talk about the teams right now that are locked in top 6, there is no complete team.
You didn't say my Warriors.
I apologize because I don't trust them at all.
You was going to mention the Lakers.
I said I'm a Lakers
Kings would
fan.
beat them in a series.
You don't have wings.
Possible.
You don't have wings, and your defense is mid, and that's the real concern for me. We're going to talk about them later, so I didn't want to go too in depth on the Warriors.
Defense is mid on the road.
It is.
Everything's mid on the road for you.
It is, and if you guys aren't going to have home court advantage, that's also a struggle.
I didn't mention this either, but De'Aaron Fox is ready.
For what?
Nah, he's ready for primetime.
De'Aaron Fox has been waiting for this moment, and he's going to show up.
Sure. He is ready.
And Kevin Huerter has been shooting 52% from the 3 in March.
Okay, I was
heating
going to
up.
say, just mentioned Kevin Huerter's day-to-day with a hamstring injury.
they got lucky.
Yeah, it could have been worse.
for sure.
They got, that was great for them. It wasn't that bad.
Just like Fox is ready, I'm sure Luka, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, the Joker, they're all pretty much ready for this type of moment. Can the Kings make a deep run? This is a tough question, I think, because I think, like you mentioned, like you talked about the Suns, like in your soliloquy, you talked about a lot of historical shit that has a lot of years in between it. You know, the Suns was 2009, 2010. You know, there's a lot of historical offenses that have those breaks in between NBA history. And this is a team that's one of the best offenses in the league by far. Defensively, they're probably, 28th at home, 10th on the road. So they're probably like 18th to 20th range. They're probably like, in the middle of the range. So they're not a good defense. They're not bad defense. They're like kind of like not that good. But for me in the West, it's just about who in a 7-game series is going to be able to crack down and defend. I think for the most part, we've noticed in the West, nobody can really defend right now. The Clippers, the Warriors, the Nuggets, the Kings, only the Grizzlies is the one team, but offensively in half court, they're not good. But only the Grizzlies are probably the one team that consistently has been able to defend all year round. It's just going to be about who comes to defend. But like you mentioned there's a lot of things to look forward to with the Kings. Have De'Aaron Fox, who's been by far I looked at the number the other day. It's Fox and Gaps and DeMar DeRozan, baby. So DeMar's still up there in clutch buckets. But you have one of the clutchest players in the NBA. You have a high-powered offense. You have shooters. You have Mike Brown, who's implemented a system, right, that's similar to the Warriors system. And if you see the Warriors system, it has succeeded in the playoffs, which also gives you another confidence, like, all right, that system works, our system works, maybe it can work, right? So it's a lot of things for the Kings to work in their favor.
Can I ask you a question? Another thing that, because we understand Mike Brown historically has been known to be a defensive coach. How nuts is it that his defense is his main issue and his offense is historic?
I just don't think the Kings have the personnel to defend at a high level. I think they're very small. They have Fox, Monk. Yeah. Cameron Huerter's not that good of a defender. He's 6'8", but he's not strong. You know what I'm saying? So they just don't have the personnel. So if you don't have the personnel, it's not much you can really do. You can try to implement the system. And the
Barnes, Keegan, and Lyles isn't really moving it.
Not really. Not to move a whole team. The Kings they defend when they need to. They get these good stops, and you can't stop their offense.
In the fourth quarter, they're 15th in defensive rating.
Yeah, so see, they're middle of the pack, and that's what you want.
That's all they need to be.
Yeah. I will say this about the Kings: the Kessler Edwards acquisition was very good. He's provided them with some wing minutes that they desperately needed. He's hit shots.
That's legend.
And I don't know if he'll get playoff minutes because he's a very young player, but I won't be surprised if Trey Lyles is that sixth man that's coming with Malik Monk. Him and Malik Monk are going to be staples in the playoff rotation. Davion Mitchell, maybe, depending on matchup.
Oh, I'm sorry, y'all.
Wow. Davion Mitchell, depending on matchup. Trey Lyles is somebody that I think he can defend as well as Keegan and Harrison Barnes, and he's somebody that has been one of their more important players, and whenever he's on the court, they go on these runs. So he might be somebody that come playoff time is really important for them.
Yeah, I just think in the West, you can't really trust anybody right now, so it's just about if you want to bank your faith in the Kings, they can make a deep run with all the madness that's happening in the West. It's just like you look at the Suns and you look at Denver, it's really hard to put the Kings over one of those teams unless they don't have to see either one. I mean, the Suns have Kevin Durant, Devin Booker. I trust those two.
Kings can't beat the Nuggets?
They can. I didn't say they couldn't. I trust Denver. I trust the Joker. They don't have an answer for him. Defensively, both teams aren't good defensively. I would trust the team with a little bit more playoff experience in that situation. But there's a world where the Kings can make a run. We can't act oblivious to it. They have one of the best offenses in the NBA. But in the West, there's so much madness. You don't know who's going to play who. Matchups are going to be pretty much – it's looking like the bracket down low is going to be probably Kings, Grizzlies, Warriors, and either Minnesota or Dallas, whichever one of those comes. And that's if you guys – I'm just saying off the seeding of what it is right now, because I have it right here.
We're 9. Timberwolves are 7.
7-8.
Dallas
7-8
is 8. Yeah. So, and then we're 9.
Based off just what I'm looking at right now, I don't want to speculate. Just of today, Grizzlies, Warriors, Kings, Minnesota or Dallas. That's that bracket down low. That's a pretty nasty, tough bracket.
No doubt.
Any one of those teams, I feel like, can come out of that bracket because that's a pretty tough bracket. And they all have a star. They all have talented guys.
And Minnesota beat the Kings?
No, I think Minnesota's the one team that can't. I think, but if Dallas comes out of it,
Dallas. That's the Dallas. You know what? Hey, I'll say this.
Dallas.
I respect you for staying 10 tones.
It's a punch chance. You can never count out Luka. You can't count out Luka.
That really
count out Luka.
Well, you're a Boston fan, so you have a great team.
Look what they've done with him and Kyrie. They haven't.
All right, here's. I'm gonna fix my friend's wording
in a playoff situation. I think it's a little different. I think you have Luka, you have Kyrie, you can make it work.
I'm gonna fix his wording. He's not counting out Luka. He's counting out Dallas.
That's counting out Luka.
It's not fair because listen.
No, it is fair. That's what he's saying.
All right, listen. When the Warriors played against the Cavaliers, right? You still took the Warriors. You're not counting out LeBron. You're counting out the Cavaliers because they were not as good as that Warriors team with Kevin Durant.
No, I counted out the Cavs completely.
Yes, but you're not counting out LeBron James.
No, that's counting out LeBron
historically
James.
Great super team, though.
No doubt. But I'm just saying.
I counted out LeBron.
What do you mean? You counted out LeBron?
It was Kevin Durant and Steph. Yes, I counted out LeBron pretty comfortably.
But all right, you're
It's tough because the Warriors team
That's
is
a
just
that was a
strength and
bad
weakness.
example. That was
I
a bad
guess,
example.
but
It's a
you're
one-of-one
just
team.
missing my point with that.
No,
though.
he's counting out. He literally just said it though.
No, I know, but he's being
I'm
strongly worded.
counting out because I've seen this Mavs team cannot win with Luka and Kyrie right now. It's a small sample size, very small. But right now, if I have to go based on what the Kings have done this entire regular season, I think for the majority of this season, me included, but you see people in the mainstream media too, it's very easy to count them out because they've been bad forever. So whenever we have these discussions, are the Kings for real? Can they do something in the playoffs? Mostly for the first half of the year, I think a lot of people thought it was a fluke of sorts, or they would, cool off at some point, and eventually the bad defense would catch up to him, or the shooting would cool off, or whatever the case might be. So for a large portion of the season, the Kings were just counted out. And I think now, thank God, it's a month till playoff time. People are finally coming around to say, no, this team can make a run. And you guys all made great points. I think the number one point is, though, no one plays defense in the West. If you look at the Western Conference, the contenders who are top 10 defensive efficiency, the Grizzlies are at 3rd, but we mentioned their lack of offense. The Suns are at 6. And then you have like the Thunder and Pels in there, but they're not contenders, right? They're just in the play-in conversation.
The Pels are not in playing.
That's why I said conversation.
They're game out, whatever, half game. But the Suns are the only team I look at with Kevin Durant. Josh Okogie is a good perimeter defender as well. They're really the only team I could look at and say offensively they can match the Kings and defensively they're better. The Nuggets, it's a small sample size again, but they're on a 4-game losing streak. They've struggled post All-Star break just like the Celtics have. Both of the two juggernauts in the first half of the year have struggled post All-Star break. And historically, that doesn't always mean you're going to struggle in the playoffs or can't get to the finals, but it's never a good feeling going into the playoffs if you've been struggling in that second half of the year. And you could talk about these teams saying, oh, it's just a regular season. They'll pick it up in the postseason. But if you think about the Nuggets, who were the 1 seed pretty comfortably all year, Jokic could get picked apart. We've seen that multiple times in the playoffs. So even though the Nuggets, who were rising defensively in the last few months, they've cooled down. And then in the playoffs, if you really want to get specific in a 7-game series, I have faith that Mike Brown will be able to cook something up to be able to pick apart Jokic. Just because of the personnel they have with Fox, with Sabonis, with all these shooters.
So you have more faith in Mike Brown than Luka Doncic?
I have more faith in the Kings.
Well, you said Mike Brown. That's why.
The personnel, too.
It's mostly
they both have the. I don't think
the personnel of the Kings is better.
It is, but I don't think either one has a personnel to cook up anything against the Joker. To be fair,
defensively,
yeah.
I don't know what you mean.
No one does.
The Kings don't have the personnel.
No, I'm saying to be able to. The Kings have the ball on offense. Be able to take advantage.
Oh
of
yeah.
Joker
I'm sorry.
defense.
I'm sorry.
I was gonna say that's a fact.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I thought you meant something else.
The other way, I know what you mean. Yeah.
I just feel like people sleeping on Dallas. I don't know. I guess because what Luka has shown me for 2 straight postseasons that unless you have a superior playoff performer or somebody of similar his level on the other side, you can't beat him.
It's De'Aaron Fox.
Okay, I don't want to be disrespectful.
Fox isn't the spirit player.
Yeah,
He's not.
I don't want to be.
You're going to see what's going to do.
You've come a long way.
Yeah, but I don't.
You've come a long way because
I
if this was
truly
last
don't.
year, you would have absolutely had a coronary.
Well, he's about to make the playoffs, so I don't want to sit here and be disrespectful.
No,
He
Luka,
might be all-NBA
we know
this
he's an
year.
all-time great playoff performer. There's no doubt.
But
De'Aaron Fox is going to average 30 in the playoffs.
That's why I don't think there's going to be a huge
understand
gap
what you're
points per
saying.
game
I'm talking about like I've seen Luka go toe to toe with one of the best player performers.
Does the sample size, whatever, 10 games with Luka and Kyrie doesn't move you at all? You're just throwing it away. They'll figure it out in the playoffs. It's hard to predict they'll figure it out if they've had this stretch here where they haven't been able to figure it out. Now they only have a couple weeks left to try to make this thing work. And I don't want to have to go, if I'm Dallas, try to figure it out against the best offense in the league when I can't play any sort of defense. At least the Kings have shown some flashes of being able to play defense.
Listen, I think what you're saying is sound. You're saying that the West is wide open. That's what you're saying. And I know that I think Riv is sound too. You can't count out Luka Doncic. And the Dallas Mavericks, let's not forget last year with similar personnel, this was a top defense in the NBA. If Jason Kidd can get his rotations right, this is a team that you can't sleep on Dallas.
I get what you like. In terms of the personnel, I understand. The Kings have shown a little bit more in the regular season, but they still don't have any answers
for Luka. A lot more in the regular season.
They still in a playoff series, 7 games you match up against, they still don't have anything for Luka and Kyrie. The same way how Dallas doesn't have anything for Fox and Sabonis. So you still are going to have to go out there and outperform Luka and Kyrie, two guys that we've seen for a long time, not for Luka, but for a long time be elite playoff performers. You still have to go out there and outperform them. Whether defensively Dallas is good, you're right, but neither team has the personnel to stop each other. So it's like,
that series will be close. I would take the Kings. That series
Yeah,
will
I
be
think
close.
But if
like,
you have to
They
get
faced
one
early in the
stop,
season.
Dallas is screwed. At least the Kings, I know, could get a stop.
against who? You can't be serious.
The Kings have shown to be able to get a stop. We're
You
not
say
talking
you-
about Dallas, who's a bottom five defense.
So you're
in the
telling me,
league.
this is what you're telling me. In a playoff series, you trust the Kings to get a stop against Luka and Kyrie.
I
more
trust
than
them to get more consistent stops
against
than,
Luka and Kyrie.
than the Mavericks. Yes.
Okay.
Mavericks are dog shit defensively. Not that the
Like,
Kings
they don't
are
have
any better.
anything.
I just don't see how you think they can get a stop against Luka and
All
Kyrie.
right, here's the I feel like the better statement would be, I trust the number one offense in the NBA
Which is fine.
to score more efficiently and
Yeah.
outscore
That's
the Dallas Mavericks. Although
Eventually, you're going to need
it's
to get a stop.
Luka, it's Kyrie.
Yeah.
They're great, but they've shown that even when they're amazing, they still lose games.
They've been losing games.
Yeah, I think they can flip the
That's
switch to playoffs.
that's
though.
the best way to put it.
They can flip the switch.
It's
in the
not a
playoffs,
matter of getting a stop. No,
They're
they're
going
going
to
to
have to get a
outscore.
stop. One of these teams are going to have to get a stop.
The Kings are going to outscore the Mavs.
I think it's also important to note that the Mavericks don't struggle with Luka and Kyrie on the court.
No, they don't.
It's the lineups when they're not on the court they
Because
struggle.
their team is not good.
I
It's
just
similar to the
don't want
Kings.
people to forget that Luka played against the Clippers and two of the best wing defenders in
Don't
the
have
league.
to tell me.
I remind you
You
about
have to
the-
tell
No,
me.
I'm not
You
talking about
shake
you.
it off.
I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying I
Who are you talking
don't. Huh?
He's talking about you, no doubt.
Yeah, I'm just speaking in general. Like I don't like Luka. He's a different type. Like him by himself can will an offense to outscore people. So I wouldn't sleep on Dallas.
They're 6th in offensive rating right now.
Yeah,
Dallas
I wouldn't
is.
sleep on Dallas for sure. They're still one of those teams that can make some noise, but the Kings can make a run definitely.
6th in
Who would you
offensive
pick
rating,
right now?
23rd in defensive rating.
Kings
Kings
Mavs.
are number 1 in offensive rating, 25th in
would-
defensive rating.
Take the Kings in like 7. I'll take the Kings in like 6, 7.
In
And
the
you're-
Maverick series. Stick to your guns, bro.
What did I?
No,
what did I
because
say?
you were just defending
Respect the hell out of
No, I
that.
just all I said was don't sleep on
He was
Dallas.
just playing devil's advocate.
I
Yeah.
respect him if he took the Mavericks in the series.
I would have
so.
too.
Oh,
Because
well,
I
was-
remember
we
sitting
lost-
at
we
this.
lost
No,
respect.
no, for sure.
Oh, I don't give a fuck about you.
I remember sitting in that
I thought that was
chair
gonna move me.
and saying that I would take the Kings, and you and John had an absolute stroke.
That's a fact.
Okay.
I remember that very
I was with
vividly.
you. I said the Kings
I
have
know,
a chance for sure.
I know, which is why I'm not respecting this statement,
Okay.
Mister. I never flip a side. We don't change sides on this.
Am I supposed to be moved?
I don't know. Are you?
No.
Okay.
I just said Dallas.
I'd be
is a
better
chance.
as a man.
Okay. Keep
All right.
Keep trying to get Lakers in the playoffs.
We are in
Keep
play
trying
in.
to. You're 10 seed.
Hey, one more loss. You're right where we are.
No, we're 2 games ahead of you guys.
Yeah, I got it. And you're being the plan with a loss.
I wouldn't think that's how it goes.
That is how it goes.
Okay.
What do you mean?
Okay.
Don't lose tonight on the road without Draymond. Oh wait,
You know
probably
LeBron's
without-
might not come back.
Playing the Hawks, right?
Did you get that news? Did you
No.
get the news?
He won't be back in 3 weeks.
Let's go.
Which is what we knew.
My analysis from this interaction between you guys is
FDU 8-0 run. They're up 2.
one, I agree with a lot of what Riv said. You can't count out Luka Doncic. I actually think you guys
What are you
understand the
doing?
Mavericks.
This guy wants both
no,
teams to win.
I'm done. I'm done having this
What do you mean
conversation.
you're done?
I'm
Sorry, what'd
just
you say?
done having this conversation.
I'm picking the Kings to go far in the playoffs. There's no
just
doubt.
done having this
You
conversation.
guys are just very heavily sleeping on Dallas.
You guys are
I
just
would
acting
also
counting
pick the
them
Kings
out.
at 7.
like,
It
would
be
you
a
would you
great
be
series.
surprised if Dallas comes
No.
wins?
I wouldn't be
Oh,
surprised.
okay, you made it seem
the
like that's
whole
why I was
the
surprised.
whole statement is that I'm not counting out Luka Doncic. I understand Luka
okay, this-
Doncic
I know what you're about to
is
say.
all world.
Uh-huh.
The Mavs outside of Luka and Kyrie are bad.
no,
they're
that's
bad.
not true, bro.
They're not
I
good.
just think they
Josh
have to
Green's a
figure
good
it out.
player.
Oh, fine.
Maxi Kleber's a good player,
And they've
in
been
the
showing
playoffs.
out when Luka has not been playing because there's increased opportunity. Someone needs to step up to the plate. But then Luka's going to be back. The usage is going to go completely down. It's going to be solely reliant on Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, of course. But the offense will be different when Luka's there, of course. That's an obvious statement. But these players will not have the same impact that they've shown since Luka has been out.
Maxi Kleber will.
Defensively,
What do you mean? What,
And,
bro?
he can
When
corner
Luka's
three.
out, Maxi Kleber does not do anything different offensively.
no, I'm not saying you're wrong. You're saying defensively. Yes, Maxi Kleber is a good
If
defensive
anything,
player.
those guys get easier shots.
It's
the
a
only-
matter of
the-
making them or not.
The only one that it affects is Josh Green because when he's got increased on-ball opportunities, he's been really good.
Mhm.
But even him, he's great defensively, and
Yes.
he's been a better corner three-point shooter. They have guys. I just want to say that. It's Luka, Kyrie, Tim Hardaway Jr. is a good player.
We've seen Dallas.
Josh
get
Green's
hot.
a good player. Max Keeper's a good player.
They get cold.
Let's
They
not
can
act
get
like
hot.
this team
And now
is
they have
full of
another guy to
scrubs.
give him a bucket.
This team is not moving me. It's not good.
So what would you pick, Drew? Kings. I
Kings.
know you're taking the Kings, but 6 games?
6 games. Luka gets that respect.
I understand what we're saying, though. I do think that you guys are underselling the Mavericks a bit.
I said Kings at 7. It'd be a
Reggie
great
Bullock
series.
and Christian Wood are good players, too.
Reggie Bullock.
Christian.
Good
Does
player.
Dallas even think Christian Wood's good?
Two ever
Screaming.
go hand
Yes.
in hand.
Christian Wood just had 28 and led them to a victory the other night.
I know he has games where he
Even
plays
a blind squirrel finds an acorn.
30 minutes. He has games
No,
where
Christian
he's
Wood has
rotations.
been really good this year.
Broken clock is right 2 times a year.
The problem with
He gets
Christian Wood,
inconsistent playing time.
because they're trying to play politics with him right now. They don't want to give him an extension. That's really what it is.
They're trying to win a championship. I think at some point they have to realize we have to play our best players. So if they really think Christian Wood, like at some point, this has to get settled. I know the whole politics. I forgot what podcast that was. Draymond's podcast.
Defensive ratings since January. Both of the Dallas is bottom 8 in the league. Guess who's under them?
I know. I said that. The Kings
Kings.
are not good defensively.
So,
no
it's like-
one's fighting that.
To refute that, I follow a Mavericks reporter, Grant Afseth, on Twitter. He covers them on Sports Illustrated, I believe, or he has a website called DallasBasketball.com. He does film reviews. The entire Mavericks fan base right now is appalled by Christian Wood's lack of play on time. I want to let you know that.
So am I.
Like
I'm also appalled.
it's not, but this is the thing. The difference is that you are blaming Christian Wood.
No, I'm not.
Right now, what's happening in Dallas is Jason Kidd is just doing some dumbass shit.
I'm
in
not
my
blaming
opinion.
Christian Wood. I think he's been a great player for them this year. But you said you're right. Last game or 2 nights ago, whatever, he dropped 28. The day before he didn't play, and the game before he had 15 minutes.
That's Jason Kidd malpractice.
But I'm not blaming Christian Wood, but I don't know if we could just bank on Christian Wood going out there playing 30 minutes tonight and giving you 25.
All I'm saying is that all year long, it's been consensus within Mavs beat reporters that Christian Wood has been a better player than Dwight Powell this year. Yet Dwight Powell continues to receive significantly more minutes than him.
I feel
Now,
like I've been
whether
praising Christian Wood this year.
Jason Kidd is going to switch it up come playoff time and actually play the players that should play more or not is up for question. But Jason Kidd has done a lot of questionable things, like Josh Green being a starter, him now playing 6 minutes and Justin Holiday starting.
Yeah.
Jason Kidd, I'm not sure if it's experimentation, but they have good players.
But
That's all I'm saying.
That's why I said, Mavericks think Christian Wood's good. I think Christian Wood's good, but if he's getting inconsistent playing time, I can't just bank on it.
All I'm saying is I don't think it's just Luka and Kyrie. I think there are good players on this roster, and what Rivers saying is sound. Luka, we've seen him go toe-to-toe. We've seen him go toe-to-toe against great teams with less and still manage to make it tight series.
For sure.
So we cannot count out Luka in the playoffs. I love the Kings, and I think they will get it done. But Luka, Mavericks in the playoffs, you can't count them out either. Before we go on to the next topic, Athletic Greens, they are sponsoring this podcast. So they're a proud sponsor of the Pick a Side, and we're glad they're sponsoring us. So Athletic Greens, the way you use it, you get 1 small scoop of AG1, put it in water, mix it, and drink it first thing each morning. I know Drew loves to put it inside his protein shake, and the amount it costs for a month's supply is less than $3 a day. You're getting all your sourced ingredients in it. It has high quality ingredients. It covers your nutritional needs. And if you are looking for a comprehensive solution, and that's what you need in your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/pickaside. That's athleticgreens.com/pickaside. Go check it out. I wish I had some Athletic Greens right now, but I have caffeinated lemonade.
Caffeinated lemonade?
Yes.
Sounds pretty fire. Sounds fire.
It's really
Where'd you
good.
get
It's
it
from Panera?
Panera.
Yeah, Panera doesn't miss with the
Oh,
lemonades.
I think I've seen that on TikTok, actually.
Yeah, Panera does not miss.
I need my re-up on AG1, man. I'm sick. I finished it today. I'm going to have to steal it from you, those travel packs, unless you actually use them or no.
I don't use them. I use them inconsistently. I do.
All right. Well,
I use them
steal
inconsistently. I know you would benefit.
Either
much
I'm
more
gonna
from it.
either I'm gonna steal them for you, or AG1's or Athletic Greens is gonna have to send us some more.
I'm looking at Joel V. Moran burner here.
Vivi?
Yes, Joel V. Moran, and the bio is host of the Pick a Side Pod, Kings enthusiast, #Sacramento Proud, #We Are the Valley to represent the Suns, #New York Forever. to represent the Knicks. Let Joel Moran cook.
Bless you.
Hashtag bless you, Drew.
Thank you.
He's only missing Anthony Edwards here. I want to give a shout out to Joel VV Moran.
He just hit 100 followers.
He did hit 100,
thank you
110
message.
followers. His
I had
thank
to
you message.
unfollow him. I felt bad, but I had to unfollow him because I added him once by accident. I see the tweets. I don't know if it's you or him. So with all due respect to him, I just couldn't keep following
It's
it.
so easy. If there's no check mark by his name,
it still
not
gets me.
Joel.
Still gets me.
What's going to happen once I remove the check mark?
Ant-Man?
Damn.
What happened?
He got hurt.
No way.
Something bad or just twisted ankle?
Ankle. I don't know how bad. He landed on his ankle wrong.
So Joel VV Moran goes, I want to thank the Joel Moran universe for 100 followers. I'm tearing up as I'm writing this. People doubted me. I got canceled. And every time I just had to get up one more time. Let Joel Moran cook will be worldwide. And it's only the first step.
He's funny, man.
He is hilarious, bro.
Damn, he got a crazy amount of love on literally just copying and pasting your Jason Tatum and Anthony Edwards stats.
Yeah.
He got 301 likes,
That's
46
you was up too.
retweets.
He went crazy on that.
That's fucking crazy.
That's the thing. If it's Kings and Woes propaganda, he's gonna get a lot of love. What sent me is the picture that he posted of me and Dehls at Mojo.
That was funny.
The caption was, having someone's back should be a serious matter and not something you just promise lightly. When you claim to have someone's back, it means that you will help them when times are tough. It also means that you will be there to protect and defend them. At Joel Dehls is that. Let Joel Moran cook. This got 67 likes, bro.
How does he even think of that shit? That had me
Unbelievable.
crying this morning.
Yeah, I can't unfollow him, bro.
Oh, no.
Is it bad?
It doesn't look great.
He's in pain. Like a lot
No,
of
he
pain.
looks like he's... Jesus Christ.
Do I wanna
Wow.
watch this?
Prayers up to Anthony
I'm just
Edwards.
praying that it's at worst a high ankle sprain.
Yeah,
like
facts.
that's the absolute worst. Helped to the locker room. That's never great.
My goodness, man. Hopefully Anthony Edwards is okay. Don't want anything bad to
No,
happen
no,
to him.
absolutely not. You
Let's
never
go.
want to see one of the future faces of the league.
Now, on to the next segment. I want to get your thoughts on this, Riv. The Warriors right now are the 6th seed, 36 and 34. But what's alarming is that
They're dog shit on the
Andrew
road.
Wiggins'
Oh, okay, that's
absence, we're not sure how long he's going to be gone. Bob Myers has spoken on the radio on 95.7 that he hasn't heard anything along the lines of he's not coming back. Colin Coward, who he's not a reporter, but he did say that Andrew Wiggins probably does not come back for the season.
Yeah.
So as a Warriors fan, as somebody that thinks they can make this run, and I know you, Dehls, thought that the Warriors, when healthy, could make a playoff run too. What do you think this does to the Warriors championship aspirations if Wiggins can't play for the season?
Oh, this hurts. He's one of the most important players. The defensive ability he brings to guard the best player, the rebounding he brings, the underrated aspect of his game. He's one of the best rebounders on our team. His ability to rebound is why we can play small ball so well, because he's a beast on the glass.
Yes.
3-point shooting, before his injury, he was shooting at an elite clip. When he came back, he was still shooting good. Just that guy that can exploit mismatches, be that glue guy kind of that fits everything together. He's so important for this team. A team that already lacks wing depth, you kind of need somebody like Andrew Wiggins. That's why the small ball stuff works so well. You've seen Harrison Barnes, Andre Iguodala. Like, it's been that wing guy that's been able to rebound, defend, hit threes, just be consistent in every area, and that was Andrew Wiggins. This is huge, for a team, and they even losing Andrew Wiggins, their problems are still an issue. They're one of the weirdest teams in the NBA because they're literally, like, at home, one of the best offenses, one of the best defenses in the league, and then at road they flip off. They're literally like worse than the Houston Rockets on the defensive end on the road. They turn the ball over a lot. So it's like this team is so odd to analyze because it's like at home they're great, one of the best teams in the league. On the road they're not good. So it's like, and the depth is already a concern. I don't know how they make this run without Andrew Wiggins, because Andrew Wiggins, you saw what he did in the playoffs last year, checking the best guy, being able to hit the three. He was so important for them last year, being that guy. I don't know how they make this run without Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins is huge, but whatever is going on, it must be something serious if he's not there. As for the Warriors, they need to tighten shit up. I mean, it's time to get into that gear.
Yeah,
being middle of the pack in the league and being terrible on the road is not something. And I know Warriors fans are very optimistic. If one team could flip the switch, it's this team. Yeah, but it's different. They're not as healthy. Steph is putting everything he got. He's putting on amazing performances, and they're losing. They're banged up. The depth is not there. They got GP and Wiggins out possibly for the year. That hurts. So it's definitely a different scenario. You walk into the playoffs. Bless you. You walk into the playoffs with the Warriors C teams, you're confident they can win at home, but what happens on the road? How confident are you that they can get some games on the road? If you go in a building, they can pretty much beat anybody, but when they go on the road, they could lose to everybody. So, losing Andrew Wiggins is tough. It definitely puts a dent in a championship window unless he even if he comes back, he has to rep up. He's already missed like 15 games with dealing with the personal issue, so he has to rep up, get back to game shape. So that's pretty tough. Missing him is huge. They probably looking without Wiggins, their ceiling is a second round team. This isn't a team that can go to the WCF. Maybe they can beat the Grizzlies in the first round or another team. Maybe they can sneak out the first round. I don't see this team. I see Steph giving out maximum effort to make it a 6-7 game series in the first round, maybe getting the win, go to the second round. But without Andrew Wiggins, this team cannot go to the WCF or the finals.
And another thing that sucks about this is that Klay Thompson's been great. He's been phenomenal for the Warriors with the absence of Andrew Wiggins and Steph Curry. Of course, Steph Curry comes back. He knows his place on this Warriors offense. It just would have been great to see the three of them come into the playoffs at their best. And one thing I want to give you credit for, Riv, is not speculating, because we've seen a lot of people try to speculate on Andrew Wiggins' name. And I know you've been very adamant about this on Twitter, and I'm 100% on your side with this. Let's not speculate what's going on with Andrew Wiggins. Allow someone to have personal life be personal. Allow it to be allow private life, to be private. Andrew Wiggins right now is clearly going through something that is not any of our business at this moment. When it becomes aware to us, then it'll be common knowledge to everyone. We will talk about it. But until then, if there is no proper news out there, let's not try and make up some terrible story. Whether people like to think that it's true or not, we're not going to acknowledge it until there's an actual confirmed source. And I just feel like, out of the respect of Andrew Wiggins, let him deal with this on his own and in his private time. But to talk about the Warriors, it's comically bad how bad they are on the road. To have only one more win on the road than both the Houston Rockets and the San Antonio Spurs is baffling. You guys are an amazing home team, and it's the reason why you guys have been able to stay afloat. No doubt about it.
Weird.
But on the road, it makes no sense how you guys are this terrible. But the reasons are your defense is not that good, and Wiggins definitely is a huge part of that. Without Wiggins, your defense is not anywhere near the maximum potential it could be. Offensively, it's extremely Steph Curry reliant when he's on the court. It seems like other people have struggled, mainly Jordan Poole, who I've been on this side consistently. We understand how great he is when he's on, but when he's not on, Jordan Poole becomes a liability to a certain degree. Their ceiling to me is a second round exit for the fact that they are just simply not a cohesive, sound unit. And I say second round exit out of respect for Steph Curry, because I acknowledge how great he is and how great that he has played when he's on the court. The numbers side by side to his MVP season, he has been better this year at the age of 35. And we will start to have that conversation about longevity with Steph Curry very soon. And it'll be once LeBron is 40 years old, he will be the new attraction, because for Steph Curry to be doing this at the age of 35 years old needs to be talked about. He has been special when he has been on the court. He has struggled with injury this season, no doubt. 2 separate injuries, which is never ideal. But when he's on the court, he is Mr. Reliable. You can't say anything is reliable about the Warriors. Their wings, another issue why Wiggs not being there is huge. When you don't have Wiggins, it's Jonathan Kuminga. It's GP, who is not going to be playing for the rest of the season, most likely. Who else do you have to rely on at the wing position if you're the Golden State Warriors? You don't have anyone.
Iggy just broke his wrist, right?
Yeah, and the fact that Iggy has to get minutes also is crazy.
He did it. I don't know when he did it, but he did it.
And you just signed Lamb to a contract for the rest of the season. Your wings are a strong issue and a real reason why you guys might get eliminated and not be the true championship contender.
And I think what kind of exemplifies that is when you don't have those wings and you go to these 3-guard lineups, when you have Poole.
I hate them shit
Exactly.
so much.
When you have Poole, you have Curry out there and Dante DiVincenzo. I just feel like in a playoff series, you're just going to get outmatched. There's going to be people that are bigger than them, physical than them, stronger than them. So defensively, it's even more than just obviously Wiggins, I witnessed it firsthand last year in the finals, put Jason Tatum in hell for the majority of that series. So what he does defensively speaks for itself, but it really just kind of, goes along and just collapses because once you don't have Wiggins, now your lineups change. And even if when you go small and you have Jermichael Green at the 5, now you're going super small. He's just 6'8". You know what I mean? Like then it gets really wicked. So for this Warriors team, I mean, Wiggins, God willing, everything gets cleared up in his personal life. He's able to come back, but obviously, whatever he's dealing with is more important than basketball right now. But just talk about the Warriors and the championship aspirations. You're right, Joel. Earlier in the season, once we saw that starting 5 lineup there with Wiggins healthy, Curry healthy, and all those boys. They were the best starting 5 in the league. That starting 5 of Curry, Clay, Wiggins, Dre, and Looney, 128 offensive rating, 106 defensive rating, 22 net rating, the best in the league. I mean, we're talking about elite numbers across the board. And that's why I thought they still had a chance to be able to make a finals push because, like we mentioned just before in the Kings segment, the West is wide open. And even though the Warriors can't do shit on the road, the Kings are the only team on the West that has a winning record on the road. So it's not like there's really any other teams that have been consistently been able to win on the road. Now, given the fact that they only have 7 wins, they're still at a disadvantage because that is nasty, nasty work and have lost to some really bad teams on the road. Got the Hawks tonight. I wouldn't be taking the Warriors today. Down by 5 right now. No Draymond.
It looks like the same shit's gonna happen.
Yeah, so I just think not having Wiggins, it's more than just the defense there. It's just the fact that Steve Kerr has to try to figure out what lineups are going to be out there to defend some of these prolific offenses, whether it's the Kings or the Nuggets or whoever they might have to play. It's going to get nasty because I can't think of a lineup right now that you're going to be able to put out there that you're going to be consistently able to feel confident in going up against those elite offenses.
I think I saw this coming in the beginning of the season with all the turmoil that was going on at Golden State. Draymond punching Jordan Poole, losing all the veterans and replacing them with rookies and hoping that they developed, and it hasn't gone according to plan. Jonathan Kuminga's been better, but I think you want to see more from him. The bottom line is that the Warriors are not going to win a championship this year. We all know that. Steph Curry dropped 50 points the other night, and you lost by 10 to the Clippers.
I don't think we all know that.
And they lost the other game. He dropped 52.
It's always a puncher's chance.
They're 0-2 when Curry drops 50.
It's ridiculous. And the fact that Curry has to do that much just goes to show, it speaks to the lack of depth on this roster right now. It's just their bench is a real concern. And I think the league is kind of caught up to the Warriors. When the Warriors were first coming on the scene and Steve Kerr became the Warriors head coach, their offense took the NBA by storm. It took a couple years, I would say like 6-7 years, for the NBA to catch up to the offense of the Warriors. But now we have teams all over the league having historic offensive seasons. Like there's a reason why the best offensive rating in 2012 would be the 11th now. Every single offense is prolific, whether you talk about the Kings, the Nuggets. The Kings don't have the personnel the Warriors do, yet their offense is a better offense. Teams have caught up to that space, the spacing of teams have caught up to the shooting and the spacing and how to maximize NBA offenses.
Teams caught up, or we just lack depth? Because starting 5 still one of the best offenses in the NBA.
No, I think teams caught up.
And you guys are getting older. It's not that I don't know if I'd say they've caught up per se. Some have for sure. But really what it is your guys are getting older. They're getting less reliable. They're getting hurt. I mean, that's really what it is.
I don't know if they caught up because they just won the finals last year.
Caught up's a strong word. I think that it's just the issue of longevity. Not everyone does have it. We've seen Clay struggle, although he's been pretty consistently on the court this season. And really, Jordan Poole is not taking that ascension step that people had anticipated for. Unfortunately, Wiggins is not going to be playing. Steph Curry missed a significant amount of time with 2 separate injuries. It's just that's really the truth of the matter. It's just that you guys have lacked consistency.
I think you're misinterpreting what I'm saying. They've caught up to the offense, no doubt about it. Like the Warriors don't have anymore by far the best offense in the NBA anymore. Every team, and this was not the case.
Well, it's because they don't have Kevin Durant also.
Even when they didn't have Kevin Durant, they won 73 games and were historically great offensively. Teams 7 years ago did not play with this type of space. The reason why we see this type of offensive explosion
because of them
is because We see shooters everywhere on the court. We see teams play with space. We see more offensive sets. All of that was origined by Steve Kerr. He's the person who brought in Golden State's offense. He's the person that built an offensive system that was this great. And I think his role in the Warriors dynasty often gets overlooked because of the greatness of Steph Curry and KD coming along. But the truth is, if Steve Kerr is not with the Warriors, Mark Jackson does not unlock what they became. Steve Kerr brought in an offensive system, pace, space. You space the floor out, and now every team is doing it. There's no NBA team right now that doesn't have 4 shooters at the court at all times anymore. Almost every NBA team has that. And when you have shooting, when you have teams moving the ball, you get these prolific offenses. And now we have a lot of teams in the league that have prolific offenses. The Celtics, the Sixers have that, the Kings, the Nuggets. There's a lot of teams that have that type of offense now, and the Warriors are not outliers offensively anymore.
I'm really trying to think if every team really does have
the Warriors don't even have 4 shooters.
No, I think if you're talking about the top guys, though,
the Cavaliers I would still associate as one of those top tier teams.
That's a fact.
They don't have 4 guys that barely have 3 for being transparent.
The Warriors are still the only team in the league that can play 2 to 3 non-spacers and still make it.
And that's because of Steph Curry and Klay Thompson.
That's due to Draymond's passing too.
But you have the 2 best shooters ever.
The best,
and both of them constantly do this the whole game.
The best offensive lineup with the Warriors is when Draymond is at the 5.
Is it? No, I think it's Kevon at the 5.
Kevon at the 5, with Dre at the 4.
Yeah. Steph, Clay, Wiggins, and Poole, and Dre?
No, I think it's Steph, Clay, Wiggins, Dre, Looney. I think it's
that's their best 5. Yeah,
but Wiggins isn't playing. We know come playoff time, Kerr's going to use that lineup. Yeah, that's the offensive lineup they go with. Every team does, though. You look at the Nuggets: Jamal Murray, KCP, Porter Jr., Jokic. That's 4 right there. Aaron Gordon's on and off. The Kings have it. Wait, Fox is taking a lead, but even if you don't want to count him, Kevin Huerter, Harrison Barnes, Keegan Murray, Sabonis has taken a step up in his 3-point shooting. The Suns have it as well with Chris Paul, Devin Booker, KD, and Okogie. He's taken a step up. But even when they didn't have him, you add in Mikal Bridges, they had 4. The Clippers do too. Kawhi, PG, Marcus Morris, Russell Westbrook being there now kind of limits things. But when they want to go with the super efficient offense, they have those 4 shooters on the court. Every team has it. That's how the Mavericks got to the conference finals. They surrounded Luka with 4 shooters, and they just played a space game. What I'm saying is that a couple years ago, the Warriors' offense was an outlier. It was the only offense that was that hyper efficient. Yeah. Now it's not the case. There's numerous offenses that are hyper efficient and that they can match Golden State's offensive firepower.
Yeah,
but when Golden State has their 5 out there, they're still the best. They have 122 offensive rating.
Yeah, when everyone's healthy and they're going.
I just think our problem is more on the other.
And your bench is
for sure, but we're talking strictly offensive firepower.
Offense isn't the issue. I think the issue.
If you want to say maybe personnel, but
what you're saying is facts. But then the issue becomes is you have to play your starting lineup more than what you want to play them.
Well, in the playoffs, you're playing fucking 38 minutes.
They're old though.
Yeah, Steph Curry, 35. How old is Klay Thompson? 33.
It's the playoffs. 32? I'll be honest. You got to.
I'm not disagreeing with you at all.
Regular season for sure.
But it's a problem for the regular season
5
teams.
with a minute and a half.
You can't have a 6-man rotation come playoff time. That becomes almost impossible. It'd probably be 7 because it's what Kuminga and DiVincenzo.
Poole will play.
No, 2-point game. Oh my god.
Yeah, no.
Is that the you up or down?
They're up 2.
It's just defense and depth. I don't know how they fix the depth because all that money is allocated to like the big players. But defense, they just got to get more bodies. Honestly,
yeah, the defense sucks.
You got to get vets trying to
for your standard. It sucks.
It's like I've never seen no shit like this. Like it's just so lopsided when they leave their crib because when they're there, they're great. But
what happened to the players only meeting?
Shit didn't work.
No, I know. I thought there was a shift.
Gang, I'm just telling you what he told me. I can't. I'm telling you what
has Dre not been the same defensively this year?
I just don't think people have followed him as much. Like he hasn't like he's not. I'm not gonna say he's exactly the same, but he's still a great defender.
He's an elite defender still.
Yeah, it's like they still, but we don't have the same pieces. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little different. And a lot of the guys are young. They have to find their way. You know, Kuminga just started to find his way like 2 months ago.
Although Dylan Brooks doesn't have the credibility to match up with Draymond Green.
He's a leader.
What he said about Draymond punching a teammate is definitely facts.
Yeah.
Because Draymond was talking talking about Dylan Brooks saying that
They both spit facts.
Draymond was like, your teammates don't even like you.
Oh shit!
And then Dylan Brooks was like, at least I don't punch my teammates.
No, that's no.
That's a great comeback.
They both were spitting extreme facts. I won't lie.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Dylan Brooks definitely got less stain, but
Yeah, of course.
he's a great shit talker.
Yeah,
He's a great shit talker.
I don't know how they fix this shit, but a lot of stuff. He's still one of the best. You know,
For sure.
Yes.
Now the Zion Williamson question. You brought up this point the other day. It wasn't a segment, but you brought it up on a podcast. It's whether or not the Pelicans should move on from Zion Williamson due to his injuries. He suffered a right hamstring injury in early January versus 76ers, then suffered a setback before All-Star break. What's interesting and what I want to contextualize is that the Pelicans are 16 and 24 without Zion. They were 17 and 12 with him, but I don't know if him staying healthy was the cure people think it is, because they lost 6 of the last 8 with him. So before he went down, they were starting to lose with him, but I understand Ingram also wasn't healthy in those games. Zion and Ingram, this duo has played a combined 93 games together. They have been on the same roster for 4 seasons. Ingram has missed 64 games in the last 2 seasons, and Zion has missed 171 games out of 285
Brutal.
potential ones he could have played. So when looking at this, the Pelicans obviously have a problem in terms of health in their star players. Brandon Ingram has missed a lot of time in the last 2 seasons, and Zion Williamson, it seems like another season that he's not even going to play half of the games, and he's suffering these setbacks. His rookie year, he didn't play much. His second year, he played. His third year, he didn't play. And now his 4th year, he barely played. So this begs the question, do you think the Pelicans should start thinking about moving on from Zion or even moving on from Brandon Ingram?
I think this completely becomes unrelated to talent at this point. I think when you've reached the point where your star player has damn near missed 3 out of the 4 years he's been in the league, pretty much, and then your other star player hasn't consistently been on the court, this doesn't become are they talented enough problem. This becomes, are they healthy enough? And when you have to ask a bunch of 22 to 25-year-olds, are you healthy enough? I think that's a major, major issue. Now, the Pelicans, I think we can all agree, have a talented roster. They have a lot of good young pieces. You know, Zion, Brandon Ingram, Trey Murphy, Dyson Daniels when he gets on the scene, Herb Jones, Jose Alvarado. Like, they have a really solid – JV he needs to go, but for the most part, they have a really good, solid, team, and a player like Jarris Walker could come in and change the impact of this team. He can be a guy that can fit in, or another wing player, but I think Zion is such a tricky talent because he's deemed as generational. He's deemed that he's supposed to come in, change the franchise. When we seen him on the scene, he was unstoppable. He was dominant. Even this year, they did lose 6 of their last 8, but when he was playing, we had him in conversations for the MVP. We had him as like, he's one of those guys. We've seen the real Zion. This team is great. This team is thriving behind him. Then he gets hurt, and now we're not going to see him for the rest of the year. This is starting to become, it's cooked. This is becoming a consistent thing. And I think you have to start looking at it as like, yeah, Zion is talented. Zion is great. He might become an MVP player, but will he be playing enough games to win the MVP award? And now they're starting to they might put games played on the MVP, so that might be cooked for Zion, And now you're paying this guy, and he's not on the floor enough. I think this definitely is starting to become an issue for the Pels, a team that might never reach his potential. I mean, I like to compare them to PG and Kawhi a lot, because PG and Kawhi are the kind of the standard of a duo that misses a lot of time, misses a lot of injuries. PG and Kawhi are 30 and up. They're in their 30s. Both of them have dealt with pretty bad, significant injuries throughout their career, as opposed to Brandon Ingram and Zion. I'm not saying that their injuries are nothing less, but they haven't dealt with Achilles or, damn near a broken leg. See, these are 2 guys, younger ages, really young, and their experiences injuries. The Pelicans have to ask themselves, do we want to keep going with this, or do we want to capitalize now and get assets? Because there's a chance Zion might not be able to play enough for this team to fully reach their potential.
I simply cannot, as a GM, be responsible for trading Zion Williamson. I understand that he's missed a ton of games. There's no way that I would get fired if I did not want to trade a generational talent when he's on the court. One of the best drivers of the basketball, one of the best finishers of the basketball, one of the most dominant forces in the NBA that we have It's Giannis and Zion Williamson. When you're in a conversation with Giannis, the best player in the association, let's just be transparent. You're doing something correct. Now, I get you, Riv. He's missed a lot of games, and it's been different injuries, and that's concerning to me. But I simply am going to hold out hope because I understand how great he is.
How long do you wait? I'm asking you, like, how long would you wait?
You're the GM. You wait out his contract. It is what it is.
3 years.
It is what it is.
Oh my God.
Wow. I don't care.
You're holding your franchise hostage.
And that is 100% okay because when Zion's on the court, it proves that we are better when Zion is there. Now, if Zion's
That's
not there.
That's not a proven fact.
Here's another reason. No, it is a proven fact.
He has been on the court for maybe 2 seasons.
He's played like 100 games.
They have been in the he's been in the MVP conversation, correct? They were a number 1 seed for like 2 weeks. They have been winning basketball with Zion
on the court
for like 30 games.
Okay, no doubt about it because he's missed. When he's on the court, he made them one of the best teams in the game.
For 30 games. Okay, he has not proven anything.
He's been out for a while now.
That's the point. He has not proven anything.
What do you mean he hasn't proven anything?
He hasn't.
In which way?
You can't stay healthy.
That's the problem.
Zion's proven. He just can't stay healthy.
Proven.
The efficiency is
what do you mean his talent is there. We know when he plays, he's going to show. But the problem is he does not play. So they have not proven that they're even a fully built playoff team because he's not on the court. He has not proven that he's a consistent player because they're not on the court.
He does mask a
lot
of issues.
We can imagine all day, but it's been 4 years.
I'm not imagining. In the 29 games that he played.
Look at the sample size you're saying.
29 games.
Well, what River's saying is that Zion is not proven in terms of.
You don't have. Listen, Zion, I get where he's coming from. I'm choosing to completely ignore it.
No, I don't think you get it because Riv is saying that Zion has not played a playoff game.
No,
that's why he's not proven.
I get it. And this Pelicans team that just made the playoffs and gave the number 1 seed in the Phoenix Suns a series last year, we had high.
Zion also did not play.
Riv, I understand that.
I'm just saying. Gotta add that.
All Riv is saying is that Zion is not proven.
This team was supposed to compete. This team, especially now that Zion was there, this was supposed to be a new team. Here comes Zion, and they're the number 1 seed of these 29 games. And if you think that come playoff time that he was not, is that your thing? That because you don't see in the playoffs, you don't know if Zion's going to be great come playoff time? Is that your concern?
No. He didn't get that far.
I understand that, but is that you're saying
they were the number 1 seed? BI was hurt. Then Zion goes down. BI's come back. They drop. Last year in the playoffs, they go. BI was there. Who was out? Zion. There's always something. You know what I'm saying? Like
So are you trading BI or you're trading Zion?
You got to think about both parties.
All right. If you
trade
had
BI
to trade,
before you trade
that's what I'm saying.
You got to think about both parties.
Your idea cannot be, I want to trade Zion. No, your idea should be, hey, we're still have a ton of draft capital from the Lakers, from us that we've still been able to retain. If Zion doesn't play, if he's hurt, which sucks, obviously you want Zion on the court. Our team's not going to be nearly as good. We're still going to have a great draft capital, great position to draft players to put around Zion Williamson. When Zion Williamson's on the court, they will be winning basketball games.
I think Riv has not said once that Zion's not a great player. He knows he's a great player.
I know.
But I think what he's saying about not being proven, that's a fair statement because Zion has not consistently performed at an elite level for multiple seasons on end and has not played a playoff.
When Zion's on the court, he's been proven to be elite.
We know he can.
Oh yeah, no, we know he's an elite player. There's no doubt.
So then what are we really talking about?
Zion,
you want to put players around a player that might not play.
That's the issue because you could trade Brandon Ingram, but you still have the Zion problem that he doesn't stay healthy. And
I never said I would trade. I just said to open up the conversation.
Yes, because trading Brandon Ingram doesn't really fix much. Because
trading Zion brings you a plethora.
I get
so
it.
I just said open up the conversation.
I'm being super hard-headed, no doubt about it.
I get it.
You're Zion guy.
No doubt about that's an obvious statement also, but I'm being hard-headed because I understand the talent that is Zion Williamson. We all understand this talent that is Zion Williamson. They're clearly significantly better than when he's on the court. And also, if you're another team, yes, the package will be right, but if you're the Pelicans, what package is right to trade this player that has been arguably our best player?
Package for
anybody.
There
never is.
So
like even
how,
Kevin Durant,
how can you get yourself to trade Zion when you've seen how unbelievable
because you know this shit's not going to get fixed. Zion's not going to get older and get healthier. This has been a promise since the day he was in college. It was the conversation around the number 1 pick. It's been a problem every single season. He missed an entire year already. So it's hard for me to believe, and I get it, Drew. I don't want to be the GM that has to trade Zion, but I also have to realize if I want to be the GM of this Pelicans team, if we don't make the playoffs in like 2-3 years, I'm probably getting fired regardless. Obviously, you're going to need approval from the owner to trade someone of this caliber. He's going to have to be on board too, but I have a hard time believing that Zion with age is going to be able to get over these injury bugs. He's still going to be the same player with the same concerns. So if you move off him now, at least you have a chance to get, not a chance, you will get a huge amount of draft picks, young players, and you could rebuild and try to structure your team that way, because I can't see a world where, and it's hard because Pelicans fans right now, they haven't even seen what this team can be with Zion. They have a really well-constructed team of, you got CJ, you got Ingram, you got role players like Trey Murphy and Jose Alvarado. So you have pieces that you want to see work and you think can
I hate
work.
CJ fit, me personally.
But you could see the vision there.
I think you bring up a great point that piggybacks to what I'm going to say right now. You are thinking about worst case scenario, Drew. If you trade Zion and he becomes great, you're going to look foolish. But what Dehls just proposed is that if you trade Zion and he does not stay healthy and you get a treasure chest of assets,
It's not your
you
problem.
look like a genius.
It's not your problem anymore.
You look like a genius for doing that move. I'm not saying I trade Zion, but I kind of disagree with the notion a little bit that this roster is amazing.
I agree.
It's
with
not
that.
amazing.
Just because I look at this roster, especially since Zion has been out, and I know a lot of people want to throw Willie Green on the hot seat. People have complained about the isocentrism of this offense, but they're third in passes made per game, 9th in assists, 10th in potential assists.
Been a good passer.
I think they do pass the ball a lot. Jonas Valanciunas is an odd fit. He can't defend. He's a post player. He's an old school player. He can't pass the ball well. There's a reason why the Grizzlies got better when they got rid of him and brought in Steven Adams. And even when Adams has been injured, we've seen the Grizzlies drop off. CJ McCollum isn't a true point guard. And there's just no consistent shooting.
I agree.
Jose
Herb
Alvarado,
can't
Josh Richardson, Herb Jones, Najee Marshall, Dyson Daniels, they're all shooting under 33% from three. Their only shooters are CJ
Trey.
and BI and Trey Murphy, correct. Those are three guys. It's not enough for this roster.
I agree.
The reason why I think the Pelicans are in a good position is because based on their standings right now, whether they get a low pick or the Lakers drop off, but the Lakers have been playing well, they could get a top pick in this draft and they could pivot and maybe draft a franchise player that could now replace Zion in terms of who they want to build a franchise around.
Is there a franchise player in this draft?
Scoot.
Yeah, but I'm saying
They're up
that's
3
the luxury
with
of them
possession,
getting
7
top
seconds.
2.
When they got the first overall pick, they
It
were
was
not supposed to
fortunate.
get that
It was
pick.
fortunate. You're not wrong.
Certain players can be with the right pop.
I agree with that, but I feel like if I look at this draft, I see Victor, them getting the number 1 overall selection. Right now, where it currently stands, is it possible? Anything's possible with this draft.
I get what you mean. It's not likely, though.
It's not likely. Scoot, probably not likely. Brandon Miller, probably not likely. Are the Thompson twins franchise changers? We'll see. I feel like those top 3 are the only ones that
needs the right pace to pop.
Yeah, if we're exactly. So I understand.
For the Thompson twins?
Yeah.
I think the 3 are Scoot, Wemby, and
No
Miller.
doubt. I'm with you.
I think they're franchise players, at least as of right now and as my scouting goes. But I will say this. I don't think there's any team out there that would trade a significant amount of assets for Zion
No,
right now.
Probably not.
there isn't.
Multiple first-round picks and young players. You don't think someone would
Maybe
would
not the
fetch
young
up for?
players, but the multiple.
The
picks
Knicks
I
wouldn't
can
do
see.
it.
No.
The Knicks would pull the trigger.
You think so?
I think so.
don't
Personally, I
what
do.
would they trade?
RJ.
RJ's gone.
Hella picks.
I know you say Quinn's untouchable. He's
RJ.
gone.
You think
RJ
that-
quickly and hella
After you
picks.
Quickly would be.
Reduce
That's
always
insane,
strong.
bro.
Let's
That's
go.
insane.
Let's go.
That's
You?
insane.
Chelsea.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna not. If you just said no, I was gonna not dap you.
I can't root for Tina.
No,
bro.
who
Like,
else? No, also 16
No, actually, you
seed.
can't because we're from Hackensack.
That's-
No, you
that's
cannot.
fitting. But it's also a 16 seed. You root for the
Yeah.
16 seed always.
Valid.
No, I don't think the Knicks make that trade. I don't. Personally, I don't.
I just find it so hard to believe that one, you're just bringing in someone who would immediately change the outlook of the squad.
We know
The Knicks are in
Miami
a
would be
great
in a
pos-
conversation.
every single one.
Because
for sure.
I don't know about you, but I am very questionable about the Zion and Randall fit.
Oh, for sure.
Wouldn't Zion have
I
to,
think maybe Randall probably would be in
Yeah,
that,
Randall
that
would be
trade
the one
also.
to go, right?
You don't want to give up Randall?
Wouldn't Randall be the one to go?
I don't know. I don't know if the Pelicans just like, yeah, give me Julius Randall.
No, it would
No,
probably.
I want-
It would
I
no.
want
It
him
would
for
be.
Zion.
It would be in this theoretical world. Of course, don't fucking clown me. This off the top of my head. Randall, RJ. I don't know if both quickly
gonna take-
and Grimes.
it's
You
gonna
think
take-
both of them would go?
I'm
I
gonna be
don't
honest.
think
If
so.
I'm the Pelicans, it's gonna take more than IQ,
Yeah.
Grimes, and picks for Zion.
No, for sure. But I'm
Like,
saying
no-
it needs to be Randall.
No
It
team.
needs to be RJ. Probably quickly and Quentin Grimes. But I'm sure if you're the Knicks, you want to hold on to one of these two.
What is
Oh
that?
my
Spurs up
God,
20
20 on the Grizzlies.
No team will be willing to pay what the Pelicans want,
Yeah.
or what Zion's
They'll
worth.
probably do what happened with KD. And then eventually just, I don't know. It's just, the conversation needs to be had because it's like, damn, dog. Like, I'm not saying Zion's not great, but dog, it's about to be year 4.
Yeah.
But the conversation
5.
should be, hey, the idea of trading Brandon Ingram should be real.
I think both, you have
Not
to think of both. You have to
Zion.
think of
He's
both possibilities.
significantly better.
And this is why I started my soliloquy with saying this is no longer a talent thing.
I know.
This is a who is going to be on the court for me at this point, because like Zion, as great as a talent he is, he's about to go into year 5 barely playing 100 games.
Here's the good thing. His injuries are not significant ones.
They never really
Last
are.
year, yes, he missed the whole
Does that, Bob? Does that even matter to you?
soft tissue injuries. You can overcome that.
But
Did
how
it-
many times does this have to happen until you say, I don't care what the injury is? It's
Nah.
just always something.
I'm not disagreeing. The foot injury was a genuine concern. He's over the foot shit, no doubt. That sounds
Sure.
weird to say, but that's the only thing. He's over the foot injury debacle.
Okay.
Then it was a soft tissue injury. If it's a hamstring, I'm fine. If it was another real structural damage type injury, then I have concerns. And then I start to level with you guys. But I can't level because, one, this injury is not
You
significant
can't
enough.
level, even though it's about to be year 5 and he has
can't.
barely played.
I can't respectfully for the fact that when I'm-
Hamstrings do linger on though.
But not for like years.
Yeah,
though,
no.
you know.
But if he's
Didn't
also
Harden
young.
linger on for like a year and some change?
That's because
he
he also like came
played
back
on it.
fast. Yeah.
That's why they're being cautious because they understood that one, when he was gone, they were losing a lot of games, so many games that they put themselves in this position where they are right now.
I think
The good thing is that they have a
Amazing
fairly
draft
easy
picks.
next
That's-
4 games.
They do. They do have.
They're
a leg
facing
there.
the Rockets, Spurs, Hornets,
Rockets just
and then
Rockets
the
probably
Clippers.
beat them once.
Stop calling Rockets easy, man.
The next 4,
Stop calling them easy, man.
the Rockets turn up when there's 8 games left.
Yeah,
in
they
the
just
season.
beat the Celtics and Lakers. They're on the heater right now. They're not playing with nobody.
So Joel Embiid right now has 38, 13, and 5.
God damn.
Who are they playing?
The Hornets.
Ah,
They just cooked them.
this is
They
a
dominated
stat
them.
game.
Cooking Mark
Stat
Williams.
game for sure.
So this week in the NBA,
Hawks have 100 points
Hey,
in the
yo.
3rd quarter.
Why is she all over my guy?
this week in the NBA, Michael Jordan selling a majority stake in the Hornets. And in honor of Michael Jordan selling a majority stake in the Hornets, there is a Michael Kidd Gilchrist jersey up on the wall, present for everybody to see. In honor of Michael Jordan, naming his draft picks since 2011, first round picks, Kemba Walker, Michael Kidd Gilchrist, the legend, the myth, right there on the wall. Cody Zeller, Noah Vonleh, Frank Kaminsky, Malachi Richardson. This is where it gets good. Malik Monk, Miles Bridges, PJ Washington, LaMelo Ball, James Bucknight, and Mark Williams. The second half is okay.
Yeah,
You know, the second half
Yeah.
of the decade is okay.
Oh, James Bucknight hurt me.
Do you think if they get the number 1 overall pick, he sells?
I don't know how he can sell. Oh, you mean like sell the franchise?
Yeah.
I mean, if he fucks up Victor Wembanyama, I don't know. What
He bought the franchise for $200,000.
He's doubled it up.
200,000.
Yeah.
200,
He's
no,
gonna be. He's
200
gonna sell
million.
for. He's
million.
gonna sell for.
No,
he's
one thing
gonna
about
sell-
MJ, he gets his money. Like
Yeah,
he's
sell
a
for a
business.
bill.
Sorry. Let me
Million's
rephrase
the
that.
minimum.
Michael Jordan bought the Hornets for $233 million.
Yeah. Okay.
It's probably worth 3 times that since he's
it's
the
worth at
majority
least a
stake.
No,
billion.
it's a bill.
At
Every
least a
every franchise is worth $1 billion.
He basically tripled his money
Shout out
off
to
that
him.
move.
No, he
Maybe this
came up.
was-
If you own a
his game
franchise,
plan
it's just a
all along.
moneymaker.
The Hornets really struck bad in like the mid 2000s in their drafts.
Yeah.
Like DJ Augustine, Gerald Henderson.
DJ was alright.
With
Adam
respect,
Morrison.
Michael Jordan
Kemba
needs to stick
Walker.
to playing the
It
sport.
was good.
He should not.
Should
He
suit
should
up.
not.
No, he should stick to
Yeah,
golf.
That too,
Golf he's very adequate at that.
no doubt.
That's the thing. This week in the NBA, this week in the NBA, I want everybody to bow your heads and pray for Lonzo Ball. Moment of silence. Lonzo Ball is having his it feels like 4. His 3rd knee injury, hopefully to fix cartilage or transfer cartilage, something like that. And he will be out for this year. And they said he's probably out for next year too. This is hurtful, man. Put all the basketball shit aside, all the rivalries, the back and forth, the kiki and giggling. You don't want to see a player not play in the NBA because of injuries. You know, we've seen this with Grant Hill, Brandon Roy, Derrick Rose. The NBA as a fan base, I think, can come together to that and understand that we want to see these guys healthy. We may bash them for how they play. We may bash them for stinking it up. But one thing we don't want to see is guys miss out on their careers, something that they worked extremely hard for, just because of stupid-ass injuries that we truly hate. If we had a machine where we could just plug you in and you're good to go, we'd do it. So shout out to Lonzo. I hope he gets better. I hope he heals. For the Bulls, I've seen a lot of people say waive him. That would be extremely disrespectful to Lonzo, extremely disrespectful to the brand. Do not waive Lonzo, especially at a time where he needs people the most, where he needs his organization the most and his fan base the most. Let him heal up. Keep him on the roster. Keep the prayers in his hole and do your thing.
I'm absolutely gutted to hear the news of Lonzo Ball.
Update. Anthony Edwards' right ankle sprain is questionable to return.
Oh my goodness. That's a miracle, to be honest with you, the way he was thriving in pain.
Yeah, thank God.
You want to give your This Week in NBA since mine is not NBA related?
I was going to make mine after you. No, I'm joking. Go ahead.
So my This Week in the NBA has nothing to do with the NBA, to be completely transparent. I want to talk about the World Baseball Classic. Now, to start the show, I was watching the Puerto Rico-Mexico quarterfinal game because I genuinely am fully invested into the World Baseball Classic. But you guys know I'm a big baseball fan. I was obviously in Miami to watch Puerto Rico play Venezuela. I went to the worst game possible. But I really want to talk about this because there's been a recent conversation that the World Baseball Classic is meaningless, that these MLB players, they get paid hundreds of millions of dollars to play for these franchises, obviously in Major League Baseball, should not be competing in this event. I want to let you guys know that that is one of the dumbest statements I've ever heard in my life, for the sole fact that Japan versus Korea, the game that just happened, reached 63 million viewers. The most watched World Series game ever was 54 million, and that was in 1980. 61% of TVs in Puerto Rico were tuned into the World Baseball Classic for the game of Dominican Republic versus Puerto Rico. 61%. This is quote-unquote meaningless. You have to understand what the World Baseball Classic means to these countries, what it means to these islands. Baseball is still very prominent in these countries. To say that it's meaningless, you're disrespecting the players and how much their country means to them. The World Baseball Classic only comes around once every 3 years. We're not sitting here saying that these players playing soccer should not be playing in the World Cup, because we understand how huge the World Cup is. We understand what the World Cup means to these players and what it means to their legacy. The World Baseball Classic has become that to these players. To represent their homeland means something to them. And of course, I understand Edwin Diaz going down with the injury. I'm Puerto Rican myself. Seeing him get hurt after we just won a huge game to move on to the knockout round broke my heart. I was devastated. I'm not a Mets fan, but I'm Puerto Rican. And of course, Edwin Diaz being Puerto Rican, it hurts to see another one of my guys get hurt and be what should be one of the highlights of his life be such a tragic moment. We went from just being in rejoice to being immediately sad and worried about his health and how he's going to come back. But we can't allow a freak injury like this to derail us from an event that is so special. And truly, I just wanted to make sure we understood that. If you're under the idea that these players should not be competing for their homeland, take a look in the mirror, please. Because you would never, ever say that when it comes to the Olympics. You would never, ever say that when it comes to the World Cup. So hold that same energy, please.
I think a comparison for that could be Paul George's leg injury in the
USA,
no doubt, Olympics.
Yeah.
It's like LeBron James, Michael Jordan, all the greats have gone overseas during the Olympics to play for that gold medal because they understand what it means. They're representing their homeland.
Yeah.
Like, let's not do this.
Nothing wrong with it. I'm a Mets fan. Shit was tragic, but I also a freak injury. He could have done at spring training, right? Like it's just something that's so freak that you can't look at one injury and say, oh, that's the end of it, and just never playing it again or whatever. My This Week in the NBA, Ja Moran. It broke actually on the last show we did. We didn't really have any chance to talk about it. It came out 8-game suspension is all he is getting for the showing his gun on Instagram Live. Not his gun. I apologize. It was shown that it wasn't his gun.
Showing a gun.
A gun. He went to a rehab of some sorts in Florida. It was like a long weekend. I think it was like a Friday through Monday, and he came out and he was a long weekend in rehab. Listen, maybe that's all he needed to get his mental right.
Grizzlies are making a run to the finals.
Okay.
This is
what they needed.
This is the energy shifter.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what's the most interesting thing about this is that the 8-game suspension, 6 of these games have already been done, or I guess today is 7 because it's retroactive. So since Ja has already missed these 7 games, that counts towards his suspension.
We play the Grizzlies on Sunday or Monday. I hope.
Again, some feedback.
I hope it's not that game where Ja comes back. We're on the road too. I don't need that.
But I haven't really seen much of when he's expected to return. It's an 8-game suspension, so maybe he's suspended 8 games, and maybe he has to do some ramp up again or workouts or whatever. But it does sound like Ja Moran will be back for the playoffs, and that's big for Grizzlies and Grizzlies fans.
Jabari Smith Jr. last 5 games. I want to shout him out. 21 points per game, 9 rebounds, shooting 50% from the 3.
I'm glad you're bringing him up.
Oh yeah,
I am because I believed, and there was hope.
This is the time of the year where the bums start playing really good, right?
We had this conversation too.
I told you.
It's the best time of year for young guys.
What's been happening? Johnny Davis, Jabari Smith Jr. This has been starting.
Johnny Davis been playing well.
Yeah, like a 12-point game the other day. Yeah, it was actually crazy.
So Joel Embiid is the first player with 25 plus 35 points game.
Just start over. It's all right.
Joel Embiid is the first player with 25 plus 35 point games this season. Ties Moses Malone for the most 35 point games by center in a season since the merger. In the last 4 games, Joel Embiid has had 20 points in the first half. Against the Hornets, 38, 13, and 5. And my goodness, let me just tell you guys,
Moses Malone.
Joel Embiid right now is the betting favorite to win MVP at minus 140 after that performance. Not too long ago, I took him at plus 370. Announced it on the pod. Had a feeling Joel Embiid is winning the MVP.
I will tell you this.
It's a great call.
No, amazing call. Absolutely. And I'm happy for Joel Embiid to finally, hopefully, overcome this hurdle of back-to-back second-place finishes in the MVP voting. He's been unbelievable this season. The Sixers have been playing unbelievable basketball, led by Joel Embiid. And, of course, we can't forget about James Harden. But it has been interesting to see the shift, really. But I'm happy.
Shift is hilarious.
It is.
Timing is hilarious.
No doubt.
Also.
No doubt. Very interesting. Very interesting. These, to a degree, I feel like these. Let me not get spicy. The media voters suddenly they become accused, and now there's a sudden shift. That's the one thing that I worry about, and I don't want it to be a stain on Joel Embiid. But most definitely, what he's been doing on the court is deserving of an MVP. For sure.
No, there's no doubt, and I'm glad Joel Embiid is the favorite to win MVP because I mentioned it earlier, I think a couple episodes ago. If he did not win an MVP in this 3-year stretch, it would have been one of the best 3-year stretches by a player that we've seen that has not resulted in MVP. People have commented and said, oh, we had this player and that player. Those players won MVP. Giannis has won MVP. LeBron has won MVP. Steph has won MVP. James Harden won an MVP. If Joel Embiid ended his career with no MVP and he went on this type of 3-year stretch, it would have been a travesty. But I agree with you 100%. Kendrick Perkins on First Take calls out the biases in media voters. And then all of a sudden, Joel Embiid starts to climb up in the MVP odds. I will say this to that. It was coincidental in the fact that Nikola Jokic started having some down games.
True.
And in that same process, Joel Embiid started having historic after historic performance. I mean, elite MVP-like level performances. The Nuggets still face the Sixers this season. They're going to match up one more time head-to-head.
The one thing I will say, in this losing streak, Jokic was still averaging 29 points.
What's Embiid's 3-year stretch numbers?
Let me get it to you right
and
now.
Do you still think that game decides it?
I think that game will be huge in deciding it.
Okay.
And I think Embiid is going to kick Jokic's ass in that game.
Screaming.
I do.
I mean, he usually does. When they match up, Embiid cooks.
Yeah.
So this
Jokic can't hold Embiid defensively, not even a little bit.
I think so. This is a 3-year stretch. These are the numbers from 3 years combined: 31 points per game, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 1.5 blocks, shooting 52% from the field and 37% from 3.
Yeah.
What's the free throw?
So I found somebody a little.
84%.
I found somebody a little bit close. Karl Malone. He
won an MVP.
No, this was early in his career. Like this, he had a 3-year stretch, 24, 25, 26 years old, but he racked off 29, 31, 29 points per game, and then 11 rebounds, 12 rebounds. So I just wanted to see if I could find somebody closer.
Now, Carmelo was a beast, but he eventually got his.
Yeah, late.
Yeah.
This was early. This was young.
I know
young
what you're
Malone.
saying, though. Definitely makes sense. But yeah, Joel Embiid, shout out to him. If he wins MVP, I'm gonna be very, very happy.
No doubt.
Is your
gonna
Philly
cash
agenda
out.
back on? We'll talk.
Well,
about
we're going to talk
yeah,
about
we'll
Philly.
We'll talk about,
But
we'll talk
before
about
we
it.
do that, we're going to take a quick break in the podcast. We'll be back in about a minute or two or so. We'll just loop the
What
intro.
are we
beat.
taking a break for?
I have to use the bathroom.
Hey, you want to get an argument from me? We'll
Well,
talk to you guys in a bit.
Okay.
So we are now back. We are about to read some super chats. Drew, in the meantime, is in the bathroom. So this is from RJ the God. NBA question: would Embiid going to the Knicks be bigger than Rodgers going to the Jets?
I think it'd be just as great. That's a
Yeah.
garden, though.
You tell me. You're the next guy. Are you
Let
the
me
next
know.
guy? I don't know.
Aaron Rodgers to the Jets is bigger.
For,
What if it was KD going to the Knicks?
Aaron
he's
Rodgers going to
still
the
bigger?
Jets is bigger.
think so?
Yes.
I don't know. I think
I feel like
I think
KD
New
would've
York
been
would
it.
make it like this big extravagant thing.
I definitely
It's a
think.
good question, though.
Now, NFL question. If A-Rod and Russ play at MVP levels, who goes farther, Jets or
I think
Broncos?
Jets because they have a better team.
Aaron Rodgers.
We had to do this with Drew not here.
Who cares? We know his answer.
Yeah, I do think the Jets have the better team surrounding the quarterback. I would take the Jets.
Me too, yeah.
And we don't have to deal with Mahomes, but we could beat Josh Allen. They can't beat Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, we've already beat Josh Allen. You're right about that. This is from Big Chef. I know it's a basketball show, but y'all are sleeping on the Seahawks. We made some sneaky moves. Keep doing your stuff, gang. Much love.
I saw someone I follow on Twitter was pushing Seahawks like plus 350 to win the division. Niners obviously are like that, but quarterback situation, you trust in Sam Darnold, Brock Purdy, and Trey Lance.
That's more of a you thing. What do you think?
I don't know who's gonna be the starter. Let me
Not
know who the
good for
quarters.
Lance. That's not good. Bro.
It's not good, but it's not crazy. Seahawks are a good team, and they're just gonna keep getting better. Top 5 picks too.
I'm listening. Seahawks, they just got Draymond Jones. They needed defensive line help desperately, and they got it in Draymond Jones, one of the better defensive tackles in the league last year. I like Jordan
Broncos,
Brooks.
right?
I like the secondary.
Draymond Jones.
Oh yeah, him going to the Seahawks. That was definitely a big move. But did you see he was kind of like disrespecting us, saying like it was dysfunctional, all this. It wasn't about football, too much drama going on.
It was a drama-filled
It
season
probably
for you
was.
guys
That's
last year.
probably true.
It was just a lot of media attention to us that probably was not something that he had been through since we had been mid for 5 seasons prior. So, I mean, listen, he was great for us, no doubt. I wish we would have retained him, but see ya.
The question you missed, I don't know if you heard it, was if Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers both played at MVP level, which team goes farther?
That's a great question.
The other question was, what's bigger, Aaron Rodgers to the Jets or Joel Embiid if he goes to the Knicks?
I heard that Knicks have just the better fan base. So I'm just going to go with the Knicks. Personally, I feel like the Knicks run New York. So if Joel Embiid went there, the buzz, the energy would just be completely different. We understand how the energy was when Melo was in town. We understand how the buzz was when Jeremy Lin was on his Linsanity run. Now you get Joel Embiid. It's a different type of energy, in my opinion. But as for the Rodgers and Russ conversation,
That was a great block.
I think offensively, you guys just have more talent than us.
Yeah.
Defensively, let's call it even. But offensively, you guys have Garrett Wilson. You guys have Breece Hall. Offensive line, I think that this offseason has given us that edge where you guys have a little bit more uncertainty. I just think that skill position, you guys got that.
Now, this from Black Sunday. On the road, you need unity, leadership, togetherness. Warriors don't have it, sadly, because of the punch. It's not a coincidence.
It's not a coincidence.
The punch ruined their season, man.
Actually pissing at that.
NPC Santos, John, you have no balls.
Oh, wow. Jesus Christ. Why do you say that, John? MK. Yeah. I respect it.
Aiden Ramirez, for Riv, is Steph closer to MJ than Kobe was?
Good God, no.
Good God, no.
NPC Santos, Drew, you made me sad for the jersey.
Don't worry about it, bro. 100% I'm going to make up 3 shows in a row. It's not just going to get hung there. I'm going to wear the jersey 3 shows in a row.
He's going to forget.
Definitely.
Now, this segment's going to be a little bit fun, right? Naming head coaches on Fraud Watch. There's been some head coaches that last year, they were great, but this year, some questionable stuff. So, Rev, who's your first coach on Fraud Watch?
Tyronn Lue undoubtedly is on Fraud Watch. And he's on Fraud Watch because of the lineups he's been portraying this year. And I'll play a little bit of devil advocate. He has a new team, so he's trying to figure out his lineups for the playoffs. But at times where he can make it just a simple sub, he hasn't done it. His lineups have definitely been questionable. And this whole team is on Fraud Watch. So if the whole team is on Fraud Watch, your coach is definitely on Fraud Watch.
The coach on Fraud Watch for me is unfortunately Willie Green. So you mentioned it. Willie Green has been a name that's been under speculation. How could you be this great unit defensively last season? You go into this year, what's going on? Zion was there. You guys were cooking. Zion's not there. You immediately lose this traction. And I just think that with the personnel that you had, not much change from last year to this year. To be significantly worse, it's shocking to me, no doubt about it. I think Willie Green's one of those that is definitely on Fraud Watch.
Are we already calling Doc Rivers a fraud? Because that was the first name I had.
Oh, so
Doc
Well-
Rivers, I mean, listen, I feel like already kind of been solidified. When we talk about fraudulent coaches, I feel like if you look up the definition, it is Doc Rivers for, not the most successful playoff runs, blowing some leads, right? He doesn't have the best history. And this Sixers team, listen, we talk about Joel Embiid not getting past that second round. Doc Rivers been part of this team for a couple years now. Don't like that one?
I like it a lot. I just wish it wasn't true.
Why are you so sad over it?
No, I
there's
just don't like to see
There's a
it.
different name I have. Oh, you see it as well?
No, I didn't see it.
Oh, no, I had a different name up here.
Darvin Ham?
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah, I do have. So I'll just go with my second one then. Darvin Ham. I feel like in the offseason, I remember the exact moment actually. I was leaving the gym. I got the news Darvin Ham signs to the Lakers, and we're in the chat. I'm like, tell me about Darvin Ham. He's a good coach. Everyone was over the moon, not just this group chat. Everyone loved the Darvin Ham sign. Players, coach, going to preach
Know much about him.
defense. Russell Westbrook, he's going to figure it out. It hasn't happened, and maybe it's not exactly his fault because with this new team, to his credit, right, with his
Number
these
one in
trade
defensive
deadlines,
rating.
with these trade deadline moves, Darvin Ham and the Lakers have looked a lot better, but it's not great because this window to win for the Lakers is getting smaller and smaller.
Let me ask. Maybe I should know this since obviously I'm the Laker fan of the group. It was brought down that AD was not going to play against the Rockets. He just does not play back to back. Was that upper management making that
I think it was the
decision?
training staff.
They might have said that. I'm not sure.
Why? Oh, the knocking? Don't be so. Come on, don't be soft.
You only have the good news. You only have one more back to back all year.
I'm just praying
Are
that
you-
he
are you
just
gonna
play through it.
I do have one question about one coach, but I'm gonna wait till you go to see if you same.
See, I have two coaches on Fraud Watch. The first one is Tom Thibodeau. For the reason being that the Knicks have been amazing this year. They've exceeded expectations. But last time Thibodeau was in the playoffs, he failed to adjust. And this season, it's been a reoccurring theme where he is late to adjust to things going on within the game. But I'm going to give a better name than Tom Thibodeau because I think people already are kind of hot and cold on him. I'm going with Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd is 100% on Fraud Watch. Given the lineups I see, Christian Wood one day playing 30 minutes. The next game, he's playing 15 minutes. Josh Green starting, and then he goes to the bench in favor of Justin Holiday, who they just picked up off of waivers. I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. Jason Kidd has not been consistent with his lineups all year long. In the fourth quarter, in clutch time, the Mavericks are one of the most horrible offenses to watch because there's no game plan. There was one time I saw Jason Kidd drawing a play, an ATO, and then the play was an ISO at the top of the key. There was no movement. So Jason Kidd, for me, first year as a coach, goes to the conference finals. Second year, their defense drops off. They drop off on a cliff. And it seems like offensively, late in games, they're just not able to figure anything out.
Okay, I'm gonna throw a name. Say hot, cold. Monty Williams.
Cold.
Yeah.
He's a great coach.
Yeah.
Because I think
We thought that they were going to be a playing team.
well now he has Kevin Durant.
If
that
Monty
was
Williams
before
got
then.
fired, how many teams would be calling his phone? A lot of teams.
29.
Yeah, that's why I don't.
So he's still good, still solid.
Is Chauncey Billups on your radar for being a fraud?
Not yet, at least.
Talent's just not there.
Bro, this defense is horrendous. If Damian Lillard wasn't on this team, they'd be in contention for Victor.
What about Nick Nurse?
Can I tell you why no? And
I thought about that name too.
I understand the thought process. They're definitely not living up to my expectations.
I'm only
No
looking
way,
at
no, huh?
playoff coaches.
Hmm?
I'm only looking at playoff coaches.
They're
We're
in the play-in.
talking about.
They're in the plan.
We're talking about
They're in the plan?
Yeah.
They're ninth seed.
And not the
Got
playoffs.
no. 'Cause again, they've been really good since the trade deadline. Jakob Poeltl, I made a tweet about this. The
That's
offense
a game back of the play-in or the game above.
Yeah, they're almost a 500 team. They've really turned things around.
It's
And
stupid.
It
though.
really does stem from them acquiring Jakob Poeltl and finally having the center that they've looked out for. And you can blame Nick Nurse if you want to, but I'm not going to do so because their depth is non-existent. Their bench is not good. Their two starting lineup reliable. But where credit is due is that this starting five is one of the better starting fives in the NBA still. So much so that they're still in contention for the play-in. So I'm not blaming Nick Nurse. He's
Mike
done as much as
Malone.
he's
Mike Malone
wanted.
was
He
on my
his
list.
Is he?
Mike Malone was
Is
on my
this the
list.
year where it's like, all right,
If Mike Malone doesn't get it done this year, there's going to be
let's get
conversation
it done
to get
though.
fired.
If
If
the
he gets to
Nuggets
the
get it
finals,
down,
Finals
for
appearance.
sure.
Okay.
Finals appearance.
This
Anything
team's
short.
the number one seed. They've
Yeah.
been the number one
All
seed all
year.
season long.
MPJ's
Anything short
healthy,
of the
Jamal's
conference
healthy,
finals.
Yeah, that's what I was
Jokic
actually
is
like.
healthy
Is-
and MVP.
how far does he need to go to be okay? Conference finals.
As long as they're healthy, I think finals.
Do you guys still
Not
think?
conference
Do you
finals.
guys still think highly of Quinn Snyder?
I mean, he just like
I do.
Yeah, he just got.
I really do.
The Hawks have had a top offense since he's arrived.
No doubt. I'm wondering about his time in Utah because that was
had the personnel. Sometimes he made mistakes. Though.
No doubt.
I think I had Tibbs, Mike Malone, Darvin Ham, and Doc.
I had Lou. I had Billups on here. I have Kidd and Willie Green.
I can't put Billups up yet.
I'm sorry, bro. They've been bad 2 years in a row.
You cannot put last year on him.
No doubt.
Yeah, you can't.
But this year,
if you want to say this year, fine. But you can't put last year.
I'm mostly talking this season.
Can you put Mike Malone on then? Due to the injuries the last 2 seasons?
He's on fraud
was
watch.
Was he the reason they made the playoffs? Or Joker was just absolutely amazing?
It was Jokic.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Mike's like more in the middle. Like, it could be not. You know,
if they have a disappointing playoff though, he could get fired.
Yeah,
maybe.
How about the Blazers losing in round 1? They shouldn't have.
Because if they face
that wasn't
Suns
Chauncey's
and lose,
fault.
I'm okay.
Chauncey wasn't there.
Oh yeah, I'm bugging. I'm sorry.
Chauncey wasn't there when they lost in the first round.
I'm bugging. You're 100% right.
Chauncey came there in the rebuild year.
Yes.
After. That's why you were calling him a fraud. The Chauncey was not there when they lost in the first round. They didn't lose in the first round last year.
The Nuggets, the Blazers?
That was 2 years ago.
That was
last year.
That was when the Suns went to the finals.
Last year they lost to the Warriors.
Yeah, you're thinking of 2 years ago.
You're right, bro. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
And my memory failed me right now.
All right, Brody, I got you.
Thanks, man.
On to the next topic. The Philadelphia 76ers. They're on a 7-game win streak currently. They're 47-22. And they're one of the few teams that have a top 10 offense and a top 10 defense. Joel Embiid, 4 straight games with 20 points in the first half. He's putting up historic numbers, leading the NBA in scoring twice in a row. He's done that. He's currently the betting favorite for the most valuable player in the league award. And I happily put $100 on him at plus 270 odds. And I'm going to milk that to the day I die. Because Embiid, I had a feeling he was going to win MVP. But we know the history of MVPs usually does not result in a championship. But you look at the Celtics. The Celtics haven't been looking too good. Shooting slump. Don't get enough rim pressure. Defensively, sometimes they're up and down.
Rebounding's been the number one reason.
The Milwaukee Bucks look dangerous. But the Sixers, with Embiid, with James Harden playing at the level he's playing at, can the Sixers make it out the East? Do you think they will make it out the East?
No.
Simple as that?
No. Milwaukee is simply the better squad. I still would trust the Boston Celtics in a matchup because simply the Sixers cannot beat the Boston Celtics. And right now, Milwaukee has just been such a dominant force for what seems like the majority, for basically the whole season. But really, the second half of the season, Milwaukee has been the, in my opinion, undisputed best team in the NBA. Offensively, defensively, it does not matter. Since Middleton's really been back, that seems to be the huge difference. I just trust Milwaukee. A Middleton, Drew Holiday, Giannis, Brook Lopez playing at this level. He's been absolutely phenomenal. What else is there really to say? Javon Carter being such a great role player for them as well, provides them unbelievable perimeter defense. He's just one of the better role players there are. Milwaukee is my team, and I can give respect where credit is due. James Harden and Joel Embiid have been one of the best duos in the NBA. Offensively, unmatched. They've been phenomenal. Joel Embiid, obviously, a strong candidate to win MVP, but really who's been underlooked and underappreciated is James Harden. From when he was hurt and returned in December, they have been the best offense in the NBA. And that's with the Kings being as historic as they are. When James Harden was back, per 100 possessions, they have the best offense in the NBA. So that is something that we can acknowledge and give respect. PJ Tucker, of course, what he means to them. He started off pretty shitty, but recently he's been doing a great job giving them second chances. And when you have Joel Embiid, you provide him a second chance. More likely than not, he's going to capitalize. The defense has been spectacular. That's something that we do want to credit. But Milwaukee's defense is better. Milwaukee's offense, where it may not be better, you still have Giannis, who Philadelphia will not have an answer for. Chris Middleton would be the only question mark due to health concerns, but Drew Holiday obviously has done a great job in his absence. When he needs to step up, he shows that he can provide that offensive spark. And really, the guy who we talk about, the big three of Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, and Giannis Antetokounmpo, it's the core four because Brook Lopez has earned that right. His ability to stretch, his ability to block shots, his rim protection is probably second best, third best in the league. I'm just giving respect to Jaren Jackson because of the shot blocker that he is, but he does not foul not nearly as much as Jaren Jackson does. So where Philly, rightfully so, has been one of the best teams in the league, one of the more consistent teams over this last 2-3 months, Milwaukee has it. And if they're going to play the Celtics, I still trust the Boston Celtics.
Now, listen, I know what you're going to say, man.
What am I going to say?
You're going to say the Celtics and the Bucks could beat the Sixers. And to that, I'm going to say you're wrong, buddy. You're wrong.
Tell me what.
One thing's certain. The only team I'm scared of in the East
Milwaukee
is the Milwaukee Bucks.
Shocker.
They're disgusting.
When the Celtics are the number one record in the NBA, you're saying the same thing.
They are to the Sixers what Bane was to Batman. That's scary. The Celtics.
You do know Batman was more scared of the Joker than Bane, right?
I don't know about that.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Bane was a menace. What are you talking about?
You gotta look
Bane
at the comics.
washed Batman.
You're thinking of the movies.
I am thinking of the movies.
Gotta read the comics, man.
Because Joker just always found a way to get back, and Batman's not killing anyone. But Bane, pound for pound.
I'll read the comics, man. The comics will tell you.
How about the movies? What did they tell you?
The movies tell you that.
Bane was crazy. Yeah, okay. Just making sure.
I want to say
Joker was
this
the better
about the
movie.
Sixers.
Clearing.
All year long, there's been some disrespect on the Sixers. When we talk about them as a playoff team, oh, the Cavaliers, yeah, they got a chance against the Sixers. I've heard some people on Twitter say the Knicks have a chance against them. Some people saying the Nets do. It's ridiculous.
It is.
That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
Who said the Nets?
Joel Embiid
He was captain.
is a man on a mission. And at minimum, he's getting to the conference finals this year. At minimum.
His first time ever.
Yes. And it will be his first time ever. The Boston Celtics, they cannot hang with Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid has not had this level of supporting cast around it.
this
I really
Stop.
don't want to cut you off, but during the Celtics' terrible stretch, they went into Philly and Embiid dropped 40 and they won, even though they had 20 more free throws than the Celtics.
Stop fouling. That's all I got to say to that.
Crying at stop fouling. Oh, they called the foul.
The Cavaliers, they do not stand a chance against the Sixers. Evan Mobley, for as great as he is defensively, he cannot hang with Joel Embiid. He's too scrawny right now. That's just the truth. Joel Embiid is a big boy. He's too strong for him right now. The Cavaliers cannot hang with Philly. James Harden, and I've had a lot of great takes.
I'm screaming.
A great take of mine in the offseason, and Pierre was on the show when we made it. Oh, yeah, James Harden's going to go back to all NBA form. I don't give a damn that he wasn't an all-star. He deserved to be an all-star. He's more of an all-NBA player than he is an all-star reserve. James Harden has been an all-NBA caliber performer this year. Tyrese Maxey in the starting lineup, he's been good. And I look at PJ Tucker, man. PJ Tucker, people laugh at him, talk about his box stats. Last year in Miami, they acquired PJ. They went to the conference finals. The year before that, PJ Tucker was on a team that won the championship. I'm forgetting the name of the Milwaukee Bucks. PJ Tucker goes to teams and they start winning big. PJ Tucker has been, in the last 3 years, to the conference finals twice and to the NBA finals.
Can you stop this PJ Tucker
Which
nonsense,
means
bro?
him being on Philly, Joel Embiid said in the offseason, they needed a guy like PJ Tucker, heart and soul of the team, to be there. And now that they got a guy like that to defend guys like Tatum and Brown in the playoffs, they acquired McDaniels, Jaden's twin brother from the Hornets, who's been playing some solid defense. Really good pickup. I was a bit wrong about Philly. I said, I don't know if these moves, it really catapults them to favorites in the East. And maybe they're not favorites yet. They're not favorites. But there's no doubt about it beating the Boston Celtics, that's for sure, in the playoffs. Oh, yeah, that's for sure. You could bake on that, Dehls. Take that to the house. They're being the Celtics. The only team I'm concerned about.
What are they better than the Celtics?
Joel Embiid. James Harden.
Jason
They have
Tatum.
two of the best three players in the series.
Jaylen Brown.
Harden's better than Jaylen Brown.
It's not a conversation.
It's not a conversation for
Listen,
me.
I would lean James Harden.
Oh, you should.
I would.
You should.
I would.
You should. You should. Because James Harden is a far better offensive player than Jaylen Brown right now.
Right now,
Not even close.
Better playmaker.
he's
James
a better
Harden,
playmaker.
No. James Harden is a better scorer than Jaylen Brown. He might not
In
score.
2023?
Yes, no doubt about it. James Harden might not have the points per game,
Uh-huh.
but that's because he's shooting less attempts.
He is.
If he shoots the same amount of attempts as Jaylen Brown, he's scoring 29, 30. It's not even a conversation. And as a playmaker, James Harden clears
For sure.
clears him.
That's a shame. They haven't beat us once this season.
Oh, they will in the playoffs.
Cool.
All the matches is the playoffs.
I wonder.
Listen,
I would love to look up how many teams have gone 3-0 in the regular season against a team and then lost them in the playoffs. I wonder what
the Nets actually beat the Miami Heat, the Big Three Heat, 3-0 in the regular season, and the Heat whipped them in the playoffs. So it's happened before, Dehls. What I'm saying, what I'm saying, Dehls, is that I know you're a Celtics fan, so you're all high and mighty, but I want to prepare you for the reality of what's going to happen. The Sixers are going to the conference finals. It's going to be the Bucks and the Sixers in the conference finals. And for James Harden's sake, for Joel Embiid's sake, I hope they win. Because you know what? The NBA Finals, the NBA champions this year is coming out the Eastern Conference. It's either going to be the Bucks, the Celtics, or the Sixers. It's one of those three. No team in the West is winning the championship.
Suns?
They have a shot. But the Suns against the Bucks, I pick the Bucks. I would pick the Bucks.
Okay. No
Fully
revenge
healthy.
there?
No, I would pick the Bucks fully healthy.
I get it.
You're 100% right about the attempts. 6 less attempts than Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown is not a
If
pillar
Harden
of
had the attempts, he's
efficiency
clearing
by
no
any
doubt,
means.
no doubt.
But Jaylen Brown, this last stretch,
And
10,
Harden's
games been great.
is one of the most efficient seasons of his career, shooting 40% from
I
three.
don't get tired of this.
The
Philly hype.
No, I do.
Yeah, I mean, no, like,
single-
you
That's
get
why I'm
tired
not-
of him.
Why,
Yeah.
why are you buying in?
Joel Embiid.
Why
You will see that James Harden is all NBA this year.
No, I was
He's
not.
all NBA this year.
I don't know if
You want to
he
know
is.
why I'm not appreciating the statements?
Yes.
Because when I spoke about Joel Embiid being the MVP, I said what's heightened this and what's been underappreciated is how great James Harden's been.
No doubt.
And I mentioned how since James Harden's been back since injury, since December,
Here's the
they're
beard.
the number one offense.
The beard.
I feel like
Oh,
we should. I feel like
gross.
this gets so tiring after a while,
It
hyping up
does.
the same team. Yes, Joel Embiid is going on another MVP-like season. We know James Harden's there. He feels healthy. He's motivated. I'm sure. They got Doc Rivers. Positive. They got new role players now. Jalen McDaniels, D'Anthony Mellon. Shout out Maxey.
Good.
Yeah, facts. Listen, the East runs through the Bucks and the Celtics. I don't know why this is. I get it. The Celtics have been on a little slump. It happens, but playoff time, I trust the Celtics team more. Defensively, I think they'll get back to their form. 7-game series, Tatum, Brown. They have the role players, Brogdon, Marcus Smart, Derek White. I trust them more than Philly. I feel like they have the guys to match Embiid's physicality. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are two of the best players, two of the best duos in the league. In terms of the Bucks, you guys are right. The Bucks look like the most dominant team in the NBA right now. Giannis, Drew Holiday. If Chris Middleton gets back to form, it's going to be a really big problem for other teams. They got role players like Grayson Allen, Pat Connaughton. Brooke Lopez has been on a Defensive Player of the Year stretch. Bobby Portis. Javon Carter's been huge. I don't see how the Bucks and the Celtics don't meet again in the ECF.
Hawks won.
The Hawks won? Yeah, pain. I don't see how the Bucks and the Celtics don't meet again in the ECF. For Joel Embiid and the Sixers to beat either team, Doc Rivers is going to have to go on a legendary coaching run. Embiid's going to have to go on a tear. James Harden's going to have to get back to Houston. James Harden, and I don't know if you can fully trust the Sixers. I feel like this is the same thing every year. You know, regular season Embiid plays at this elite level, and then the playoffs, the Sixers are just short. Whether it be somebody being injured, a lucky shot to send their season away, it always feels like the Sixers are short. So I don't want to say I'm fully confident in this group, but I'm very confident in the Celtics or the Bucks meeting in the ECF for another matchup.
Hold up. So we're not questioning Joe Mazzulla first time in the playoffs at all?
I mean,
I
I guess
made
that's-
last year.
I guess that's
We're
fair.
questioning that
You
just as much as
Ime and he
questioning.
went to the finals.
We're questioning that just as much as we're questioning if Doc Rivers is going to be good in the
That's,
playoffs.
who would you rather?
Yeah,
have as
but
coach,
Joe
Mr.
Mazzulla has shown moments this year where
Yes,
You
but
should be concerned.
but their offense is much, much better with Joe Mazzulla.
It is. The
Yeah.
defense
I
is
mean,
lacked, but the
Drew,
offense
Drew
has been
just said the Sixers have the best offense since
December.
Since
No,
December.
I'm talking about Boston. Boston's offense is. I'm not saying it was
Season
better
long.
than the
And
Sixers.
I just thought of something. Sixers and Suns would be an interesting final series. I don't know if it's so easily the Suns.
good. Okay.
Harden's better than Harden. Oh man, he's winning the championship. What is John laughing at? Joel Embiid cancels out KD, correct?
No.
I don't think that's how that goes.
No.
I'll be honest.
KD's better or Joel Embiid's better?
KD's
right now?
better than Joel
Yeah,
Embiid.
Katie's better.
It's equal right now.
I wouldn't say equal,
Joel.
but you know you're gonna
This is the KD fan.
no, you're
I
gonna,
am a KD.
you're gonna,
Joel
you're-
Embiid, he's about to be MVP. He's about to be the most valuable
This is
player.
what happens when you
What are
like
you
all the
talking
best
about?
players.
He's about to be the most valuable player. How
in
is
a
he?
playoff series.
talking
Who do you think's better?
Joel Embiid fully healthy could outplay KD, no doubt about
In a
it.
playoff series, who do you think is better? Answer the
Tyrese
question,
Maxey or Chris Paul?
Can you? Why do you have to not? Like,
Maxey
can you
comes
answer
off
my
the
question?
bench.
Nah, he's starting now.
Can you answer my
Is he?
question?
Yeah.
Can you answer my
As of
question?
when?
Why'd you skip? Wait. Why'd you skip Maxey? Why'd you go there? Why did you not-
Harden and Booker. I would lean Booker, but Harden could definitely play at Booker's level in the playoffs. There's no doubt about it.
Okay.
Tyrese Maxey and Chris Paul. We know Chris Paul. He's not who he once was.
Oh, really? You know that?
Yes, I've
Okay.
seen it this year.
All right. So keep going. I'm sure
And I want Dehls to give his spiel.
Sure. Maxey has been starting the last couple of weeks.
He has,
Wasn't aware of that. Listen, this Sixers team is great. It's a really good team. I think maybe doesn't have the most talent Embiid has ever had. When you had the Butler years when Simmons was able to, actually play basketball and all of that. But this team and the fit around Embiid, it does feel like this is probably the best fitting team around Joel Embiid, and this is probably the best year he has had. So I think if you are a Philly fan, or like my friend Joel Moran over here, maybe delusional to an extent, I could see why you could buy in. Because you have Joel Embiid, and then you have spot up shooters all over the court. You have James Harden and Maxey who could find their own shot. They could play off ball too. So everything fits together. You got defenders, PJ Tucker. You went on like a 10-minute rant about that. I don't think anyone needed to hear. But I do have a hard time believing they can get past the Bucks and the Celtics. And I don't want to make this a Celtics topic because, listen, the way the Bucks are playing right now is they're on a stretch like we have not seen, coming off 16 wins in a row. They have one loss, and they're probably on another winning streak now. Even though they lose to the Pacers last night, they ended up losing. I'm not sure. They were losing the fourth quarter by like 10. The Sixers team is dangerous for sure, but I don't want to get carried away with this recent stretch they've been on. The Pacers did win. Just because, Celtics fan, I have to feed myself some propaganda. And The Ringer actually had a really interesting article they wrote in 2019. And they looked at basically teams after the All-Star break, and does momentum actually exist going into the playoffs? And for the most part, it doesn't really. So they looked at the previous year. So this was like the 2018 season in the last 5 years. The 2018 Sixers went 18-2 in their last 20 regular season games. They went 10-0 in their last 10 games.
And they still got bounced.
And they lost to the Celtics. Now, to be fair, Ben Simmons got exposed by Brad Stevens in that series. Wasn't great. If you want to go more recently, last year's Warriors were 11-12 after the All-Star break.
Won the title.
And then you could also go to the opposite side. Like, okay, well, maybe you're not great, but
they were
kind
injured,
of mid.
though, to be fair.
Yeah, and then you also look at the 2018 Warriors. They went 10-10 their last 20 regular season games, 4-6 in their last 10.
With
They
Kevin
won the
Durant.
title. Sure, regardless. And then also the 2012-2013 Spurs went 10-10.
Warriors did struggle in the Western Conference Finals.
Against the Rockets.
I know.
And the 2012-2013
Guess
Spurs,
who's on that team,
10-10
baby?
their last 20. They went
Harden.
3-7 their last 10. They
Teams
reached
just
the
know how to
finals.
either.
You either got it or not. And
But
listen,
you heard what you said, Drew? Who was on that 2018 Rockets team? Harden and Tucker.
Okay.
They was on that team.
Good for them.
They on
they
this
lost.
team right now.
They lost.
And the
They
Celtics
That was
missed
the overwhelming
27
favorite.
straight threes.
And listen, the Bucks have been dominant, and I know we have the Celtics, and you've had like 6 different teams in the East this year. I don't know who the fuck.
Six?
You rooted for the Nets.
Get
You
outta
told me
here.
the Knicks were going to beat us. The Bucks were going to beat us. Now Philly.
I never said the Knicks would beat you in the series. What are you
Four.
talking about?
Okay.
What are
Anyway,
you talking
the
about?
biggest issue for the Celtics has been late game execution, rebounding, and defense to an extent. I think once Rob Williams comes back, that fixes a lot of the defensive issues, especially the rebounding. Late game situational rebound in the fourth quarter has been some of the worst basketball I have ever seen from a franchise. We lost to the fucking Rockets, almost lost to the Timberwolves the other night. So it's been really ugly for the Celtics, but I think getting Rob back, we're going to start seeing what the Celtics team actually was. I know you could dog on them now. Philly is only a game back of us. I get all of this, but let's not overreact to this smaller 10 to 15 game sample size, and let's look at the 70 game sample size. Boston's been better. I understand since December, whenever it was, 76ers have had the number one offense, whatever it might be. Boston's got guys down low that can bang with Embiid. Embiid's going to get his 40. Don't get me wrong. We're going to make it tough.
40.
We're going to bang with him. He's going to feel it. Al Horford's going to make him feel it. Don't get that twisted,
Al Horford's
Joel.
going to get cooked.
Don't get it twisted. He's going to make
What
him
about
feel
Rob
it.
Feel what?
He's going to get
He's
cooked.
going to feel his
by
energy.
Embiid.
He's going to feel his
They're
body
getting
on
cooked
him.
by Embiid.
They have the wall.
They're going to get cooked. They don't have a wall.
They have the answer.
They don't have a wall.
We don't have the
Al
answer.
Horford is cooked.
Rob, we don't
And
know
then
if Rob
also
was
for
gonna
the
play.
Bucks, we don't even got to talk about Giannis and Brook Lopez. That's going to be an issue for Joel Embiid.
Well, listen. That's why I said the Bucks. Yeah, I'll give you that. But this is the thing about the Celtics that I don't get. The Sixers and the Celtics have had the same record basically all season long.
And we're
When
3-0
they-
against the Sixers.
when they've been healthy.
We're 3-0.
Because Embiid missed some time, Harden missed some time, Maxey missed some time. When they've been healthy, they have been just as good. Now the Bucks is the
Celtics
team.
struggling, beat them
Now,
on the road.
The Bucks is the team that I kind of give a pause to. I think it's unfair, Riv. It is unfair. It's unfair to question Doc Rivers and not do the same for Joe Mazzulla. It's unfair.
How? Joe
Question
Mazzulla doesn't
of
have a track
first
record
year.
of
Joe
being a fraud.
Mazzulla this regular season has made questionable decisions.
Yet there's still
Like-
a
like
top
what?
2 team.
No,
in
that's
the
a good
East.
question.
No,
I'm
I don't.
curious.
I don't know, Joe. I have my thoughts on Joe Mazzulla, but I'd love to hear yours.
Yeah, you know what?
There are certain times where he leaves rotations in there for too long.
Yeah,
And I
there's
think
times
he
where the timeout issue, but he has changed that in the last 10, 15
I
games.
think when it comes to the Celtics, the offensive switch definitely makes them more efficient when they're. Oh my! Hold up.
Here we go.
Bro, it's stopping us for a bet.
For a bet.
Miami's up too.
What's going on here?
Bro, are
Oh,
you
I'm
really
professional.
stopping mid conversation?
Damn, I cannot trade. I cannot cash out. Okay. Listen, what I'm gonna say to that is, Dehls, Joe Mazzulla, he has to prove it still. He does have to prove it. The Celtics, although the offense has been better when they're hitting shots, there is variance in that offense. And I trust the sustainability of the Sixers offense way more than I do the Celtics.
So, but even still, this post All-Star break, the Celtics before the All-Star break were shooting 37.8% from three. Post All-Star break, it's 37.1. The shooting variance has not been the issue for this team. It's been the defense and Rob going down.
It's also been the offense. The Celtics are 13-10 in the past 23 games. They're 17th in points per possession over those 23 games. And they started the league. They started the season scorching. You came up on here. You came on here talking about historic pace. Not the Kings, baby. You wasn't the Kings. You thought you was the Kings. You're not the Kings, baby. You're not the Kings, baby. And the Sixers are a better offense than you guys. It's just as simple as that. Your offense.
Are they going to win us in the playoffs?
I don't trust the variance of that.
Philadelphia, number 3 in offensive rating, 116.9. The Boston Celtics are extremely far down. They're number 4 with 116.5.
And they started with such a lead, Drew, that the Sixers have caught up to them. They're surpassing them. And listen, James Harden and Embiid, they're going to the conference finals. I disagree with your take about the Sixers, where the most talented team was the Butler team. No, it was not. Ben Simmons is a net negative all the time in the playoffs. There's no doubt. Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
That team was definitely their most talented.
No, it wasn't. They were
most
top heavy.
talented.
They had nobody after that.
Bro, it does not matter. That
Riv,
team was
am
so
I crazy?
talented.
That Sixers team with Jimmy Butler, is that more talented than his current Sixers team?
Yes.
That their best bench player was
prime
this team is
JJ
deeper.
Redick
This
was
team is
on that
deeper.
team.
their
wasn't it?
their best bench player was Mike Scott.
I think that other team had more talent.
The thing with the other team is the starting 5 is just more talented. But
And
this team
Ben
is deeper.
Simmons was a negative for them. Mike Scott was their best bench player, bro.
Because Brad Stevens exposed Ben.
Because
Well,
Brett Brown
play
sucks.
style just doesn't translate.
Brett Brown's
Let's-
also dog shit as a coach.
Trust
You have
Doc
to remember
Rivers.
that. Oh well, he's much.
And
He's not
Embiid-
saying much,
yeah,
but
I
he's
know,
much.
he's better.
Embiid and Butler is just as good as Embiid and Harden right now. And then
I think Harden's better because I don't think that
Yeah.
Butler's the one we get.
Sarge
in
was
Miami.
also on that team.
If it Harden fits
Oh wait,
better.
I'm lying. He was in the trade. I'm bugging.
oh my God, Drake is about to lose, bro. So
No.
yeah, they're about to lose by 2. They got to get a stop. So basically, yeah, Harden and Embiid, Butler and Embiid. Then Tobias obviously cancels out with Tobias. Maxey or JJ Redick.
Maxey comfortably.
Of course.
And then the other one is Ben
Tobias,
Simmons.
Tobias.
I'll take D'Anthony Melton over that Ben Simmons, honestly.
That Ben Simmons?
That Ben
Hey,
Simmons.
you weren't saying that going
That
into
Ben
that
Simmons-
all
series.
NBA.
Yeah, no, that Ben
Simmons.
Simmons at least locked up.
Yeah,
no,
those
that Ben Simmons though the ball was taken out of his hands because they deferred to Jimmy.
TJ McConnell, good role player.
Come on, bro.
I ain't
Anthony
saying.
Melton clears him.
I like Jalen McDaniels. The Philly has a nice squad. They're just not better than the Bucks or the Celtics. I think that's
Yeah.
okay.
We'll
That's
see.
fair.
No,
We'll
we
see.
always see.
We'll see.
Sixers in what? 6-5 against Celtics?
They could win in 6.
Okay.
Against who?
I respect
Six,
them.
the
though. I
Celtics.
think it's
Celtics?
7.
Boston?
But listen, they're not far behind.
I'll
you
be
in the
honest.
standings. They could get
I'll-
behind.
I'll let you know this. This is Joel's last chance.
Embiid's.
I'll be honest with you.
Which Joel?
No, Embiid. If he gets an MVP, which it looks like he might win it, and then he goes in and he doesn't make an Eastern Conference again,
Do
we're
you
done.
care if he averages 40?
I don't. I'll be honest with you.
God,
This
they
is
had a 3-point look open
missed.
missed.
he's the only top 10 player that has not made an Eastern Conference.
It's an issue.
This is becoming a problem.
A
Not all of it
conference
is his
finals,
fault.
Period.
Not all of it is his fault, but sometimes it is his fault.
Even Trae Young made an ECF.
yes, he did. Even Jimmy Butler. Hey, Paul George also made it.
John Morant, French top 10, did not make one yet.
John Morant is in year 3.
No doubt. He's got his time, though.
Yeah.
He's got his time. You're right. It's early.
Even Jaylen Brown made it.
Okay.
Tatum did.
So I got a question for you
Multiple.
guys. I got a question for you guys to end off this segment. If the All NBA team comes down to in the Eastern Conference, or no, wait, there's no conference in my bad.
Here we go.
If the All NBA teams for the guard position comes down to James Harden, versus Donovan Mitchell, who gets in?
I would give it to Donovan.
I would give it to James Harden.
Shocker.
It's got to be Donovan, but
You think so?
yeah, it does.
I think it's close, though.
Why does it have
No,
to
it
be?
is.
I give it
It's
to
why
Donovan
it has to be
because
because
he's
someone
the-
needs to represent the
Cleveland.
Cavaliers.
But
He's
James Harden
I give it
leading
to-
the league in assists.
No, yeah, I give
he's
it
on
to-
a better team than the Cavs.
But Donovan's number one
He
on
needs
his team.
I get where you're coming from.
And-
James Harden
and
has
James
a
Harden is
strong
important,
case.
but Embiid is the number one for Philly. So I give it to Donovan.
What if it's between James Harden and SGA?
You have to give it to SGA.
He's been crazy. He's gotten better.
You literally
Yeah.
can't leave SGA off the All NBA.
It's hard because listen, Harden. I'm with you. He deserves a spot, but
He has
it's
the
just
winning,
the
but
guards
SGA has
are
been-
crazy.
kind of nuts.
Yeah, kind of is an understatement.
You think SGA is over Fox in the All NBA?
No,
That
you
one,
give it to
that one
Fox.
is hard too. You
Because
probably
Fox
give it to
two
Fox.
seed. Yeah, it's Fox.
But SGA has to make an All NBA team.
He does.
If he doesn't, I will quit the show. And I'm not trolling. I will be gone. John can take that spot.
I just feel like, man, when did we stop valuing winning? Harden
Hilarious coming from you.
James Harden is averaging 22 points per game. He's leading the NBA in assists. He's quite frankly the best playmaker in the NBA on the 3rd seed in the Eastern Conference. I feel like I value that over Donovan Mitchell and what he does scoring wise. I do.
Donovan Mitchell isn't just a scorer though.
But he's not the offensive player James Harden is currently.
He's not the
He's not the
playmaker
playmaker.
that James Harden is.
No,
Offensive engine?
if you just say who's a better offensive player right now, Harden or Mitchell, I would still give the edge to Harden.
Because of the playmaking, he can still score. But what Donovan Mitchell has done for Cleveland is completely changed their offense and turned them into a. First of all, they're a top 10 offense and top 10 defense. One of the reasons is because of Donovan Mitchell. He's also been putting out staggering performances against top teams like Boston, like 40-point bombs. They said so. It's like James Harden, as great as he's been, the one guy that's been not carrying, but that's been the number one guy has been Joel Embiid. So they're probably going to look at what Donovan's doing and think it's a little bit more important because he's the number one guy. Donovan Mitchell.
Harden does make Embiid better though.
No, yes and no.
Yeah, Embiid's getting
yes and no. It's
that
like
pick and roll is dead ass
nasty.
unguardable.
But I wouldn't say make him better. But
they're the best duo in the league in terms of possession.
But that's my point.
Donovan
doesn't have another superstar like Joel.
He
Embiid.
also misses a lot of passes
Also,
that he couldn't
don't
make.
take that as a negative saying he makes them better. That's saying without Harden, he's not
They
good.
play off each other.
But exactly.
Yeah.
But because Harden's on the court, Embiid automatically
Donovan doesn't
gets
have that though.
gets a bonus.
Respect to Garland, but
I was
Donovan
going to
doesn't
say,
have that.
coming from you,
Joel
it means
Embiid
a lot
and
more.
Garland is like,
I agree, of
so,
course.
It's different. I would give it to Donovan.
Rick Pitino's going to St. John's.
Official? What a fuck.
I will be there.
It's being finalized.
Every game.
I
He's
will
dead to
be
me.
there. Oh my! But because somebody asked us in the super
Just
chats,
betrayed
So
me.
who makes all who's the 6th All NBA?
I think
guard?
Steph Curry should not make it
He
personally.
missed too many games.
I
Has he
think-
played 60 games?
He might. I don't know.
What's crazy is the numbers that he has are video game.
Dame makes it.
How does Dame make it? and Steph don't?
His numbers
Dame
better than
hasn't
his
missed that many.
unanimous MVP
How many
season.
games has Dame missed?
Curry's
about to
played,
shut him
Curry's
down.
played 44.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, he's not gonna make that. I thought he played 50.
Yeah, he's played 44.
Okay, so yeah, Steph doesn't make it. That's fine.
Yeah, so Dame makes it.
I
Luka
think
makes
Fox
it.
gets in.
Dame's at
Luka
50.
gets
Fox makes it.
in. Dame's at 55. They're about to shut him down.
I know.
I saw that.
SGA makes it.
Don't let them get the same amount of games.
What's that, 5?
Wait, who'd you say?
Fox. So
Fox gets it.
Luka, Dame,
SGA.
SGA, Mitchell, and then that last
Booker's
spot.
missed too many games, right?
I think he probably has. I think James Harden should be all NBA.
What do you think? Jaylen Brown gets it?
Yeah, he should. He should
Hey.
not get in over Harden, bro.
What about Ant-Man?
I would love Jaylen Brown on it.
I'm asking.
I'll-
Do you
I'll
think
leave
he?
it at that.
No. Do you think he gets in?
I don't think he gets
It
it.
just sucks, bro, that the NBA obviously has something against James Harden. They have a vendetta
There's
against
always
him.
a vendetta.
Why don't he just win? How about that?
He is winning. They're
Go fucking
the
win.
top 3 seed in the Eastern Conference right now.
Yeah, go in the
What you
playoffs and
talking
win. How about that?
Oh my goodness.
Jesus.
Future NFL MVP super chat. Browns can make a push. That's all I'm saying. They have made some good free agent moves.
Yeah.
I agree.
NPC Santos, Rev, your package got updated. Your Pau Gasol jersey's arriving Monday now.
You're getting a
Litty.
Pau Gasol jersey?
No, it's PG, but they have the same PG. You know.
So now, last segment of this show.
My bad.
The original question for this was who's been the best sophomore this year,
Yeah,
but I think we'd all have Evan Mobley as the best sophomore.
I would agree.
So Evan Mobley has been the best sophomore offensively last year. He is somebody that.
Ooh.
So who, Drew? You're
Scotty?
shaking. You're shaking your head. So
Scotty?
who's the best sophomore second
You
season?
say Scotty, I'm a fucking laugh.
Scotty's been turning up recently. I
Oh my
will
God.
say probably would lean Evan Mobley for how much he's improved offensively. From time to time, a little inconsistent, but definitely have seen that a little bit more aggressive, which I like to see. He actually will take a jumper from time to time too, which is also nice to see. The defense that he supplies a team is just second to none. He's an unbelievable defender. But Franz has been great this season. He's been great in year 2. The reason why you do have to take Mobley is because his team is winning and he's a huge impact on winning basketball. Scotty, though, man, he's got to be in that conversation.
He doesn't.
Defensively, he's like that.
No, he doesn't.
He's not Mobley. He's not Mobley. Listen, listen. I'm glad I'm not looking at him.
Ignore him.
I'm glad I'm not looking at him. Say that one more time. The Raptors. This guy hasn't been. He doesn't tune in.
Lately, they've been good.
You haven't seen the new Jakob Poeltl defense.
Yeah, not Scotty.
Stop.
Jakob Poeltl.
No. Because they have a center. Because
are you comparing Scotty and Evans' defense? Because it's
no.
not close.
Oh my God, who's
I'm
doing
asking.
that? No,
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm just saying the all-around game.
Scotty's not
But
even an
that's-
honorable mention when it comes to the best second-year players. Josh Giddey's over him.
I'd get
And I don't even
Franz.
like Giddy. That's facts.
No, Franz has to be.
Giddey.
I have
also-
Franz
Giddey,
too. I have Franz too.
Franz too is not. He
Sengun,
does not. He does
obviously.
not clear Giddey.
No, he doesn't clear him.
Giddey's. I think he's 2 for
He
me.
doesn't clear
I'd take him over Franz personally.
Where you putting Sengun on this list?
He's the honorable
Top
mention for
five.
sure.
Top
Yeah,
five.
top 5.
He
Kuminga
started
would
out
be
hot.
on
He's
my
slowing down a
list.
little bit.
Kuminga.
Jalen
At least
Green,
he's
man.
playing.
What
No,
happened?
he's up
The
there
efficiency's not there.
Come on, man. It
That's
breaks
it.
my heart, to be honest with
Fucking
you.
stinks.
No, he's poopy. He's poopy. He's handsome.
He is
It's not
very.
good.
He is
His
indeed.
girl
No.
is ridiculous.
No, he respect.
We went over this.
We did.
On the
Like,
show, bro, you
couple
had an
months ago.
aneurysm about her.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
he was. No, yeah. No, he's winning.
He is.
Crazy,
He's a
crazy.
Houston too.
Scotty has been playing well though recently. I just want to give him that
I
acknowledgement.
want
But
those
all
hot fries
season long,
bad.
Evan Mobley definitely has been the best
Yeah,
sophomore.
I
But
agree.
I want to give the respect to Franz. I want to give the respect
You
to
want to
Scotty.
give
You
the
literally
respect to
started with Scotty.
Yeah.
No, I
that was the
said-
first
you did.
thing.
All right, you guys clearly don't listen.
That was
It
the
fucked
first
up.
name you said.
No, I said Franz.
Listen,
Fuckers.
respect me, please. Listen, Evan Mobley clears Scotty. It's pretty much night and day. Defensively, the one thing we thought Scotty would be, it's not even close. What Evan Mobley does on the defensive end, he's arguably one of the best. He's a top 5 defender in basketball to me.
He can't guard Embiid, but yeah, you're right.
I mean,
Giannis or
fucking
Mobley?
can. Huh?
Giannis or Mobley?
You give the respect to Giannis.
Giannis.
Okay,
Because-
Jaren Jackson or Mobley?
I like Mobley personally.
Just more
Brooke
versatile.
Lopez or Mobley?
I like Mobley personally.
Rim
He's more,
protector,
he's
you're
more
saying
versatile.
just
You're saying rim
protection.
protector,
Yeah.
all those guys, but he's more versatile than the field.
Bam Adebayo.
Oh, Bam. You know, I'm not
I
picking
know.
nobody. Fucking Bam.
Lopez is better than Bam defensively.
No, he's a better rim protector.
Facts.
Lopez has been unbelievable this year, which is
Yeah,
why
it's
I want a little.
disgusting.
I want a little
Oh,
bit
yeah.
more respect.
I said
I actually hate
I said
watching Brook
Lopez
Lopez
is a
play
rim protector.
I thought you said Mobley as
He's
a defender.
gigantic.
No, I
He's a
prefer
massive
Mobley,
human.
but I said Lopez. If you talk about rim protector,
Yeah.
Lopez
He could
got
fucking
it.
All right.
stroke
He might
it,
be
too.
top
It makes
5.
no sense.
He might be top 5.
Shooting
He's not. He's probably not top 5
38%
rim protector.
three,
You talk
yeah.
about overall, like what he can do and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Mobley's up there, man. I mean, this dude can go out there, guard your best guard, and protect the rim.
He's better defender than Jared Allen. Easy.
Yeah, he's more versatile. I
He
don't want
is.
like
It's the
I don't
versatility that
want to
allows-
say
yeah.
better because sometimes guys rim protecting outweigh. Like Giannis's rim protecting and help side defense outweighs a lot of guys' overall defense. So I don't want to sit here and say he's solely a better, but you're just talking about overall what he can do. He pretty much is almost the perfect defender.
Is
You know?
34-year-old Brooke Lopez the best Brooke Lopez you've seen?
Yes.
I
Couple years
he's-
on the
he
Nets,
was he was an
maybe.
offensive post player before.
Yeah. Now,
so it's
now
different.
he didn't shoot before.
Yeah, it's different.
Fucking the defense is
He's
just,
very important to what they do.
Yeah, Evan Mobley offensively, I feel like you didn't give him enough credit. You know, his
nickname is
Okay.
Splash
his,
Mouth.
I thought I did.
his improvement as a pick and roll screener,
Facts.
his improvement to just be at the right place at the right time and be able to catch certain basketballs that not many people can catch. You know, his touch around the rim, his aggressiveness has been better. You know, his patience around the rim. I just feel like you didn't give him enough credit. You kind of
Oh, God.
disrespected him as a
How,
man.
bro? I
I
gave
didn't
him his
like
due
that at all.
diligence. I
You know,
said I
like,
like how
Evan
he's been a
Mobley,
little bit more
He
aggressive.
doesn't have the numbers that these other sophomores
right.
make because he's playing with Donovan Mitchell and Garland. But he's the perfect player for those two guys. You know, the way
I
he
agree.
screens, the way he rolls, the way he pick and pop. You know, his defensive versatility on the other end. He's the best. He's right now the best sophomore in the league. I mean, I think in
Mhm.
respect to Cade, you know, he hasn't played though, so we can't put him on this list. But I think Mobley is comfortably the best sophomore in the league. Honorable mentions to Giddey, to Sengun, to missing somebody. Wagner, honorable mention to Scotty does not get an honorable
Such a
mention.
casual,
I'm sorry,
it's
he
stupid.
doesn't. Like, respect
Such
to
a
him though.
casual.
Scotty's really good, but in terms of we
Do
talk
you
about
believe-
Fraudulent rookie of the year.
we go, listen,
Shut up.
we'll talk about that another day. But do I believe what?
He's actually a good player. Or really, you say very good? I think you said very good player.
He is very good.
I don't know if he believes that. That's what I'm saying.
Y'all got to turn on the fucking television.
You need to not stop. Like Scotty's,
Scotty
he's just. I hate
killed
to
the
watch him
Lakers.
play. He plays funky, but he's a good player. I'm not gonna
Jarris
say-
Walker of Scotty Barnes.
I'll take Jarris Walker. No trolling.
Y'all are casuals.
Have you watched tape of Jarris Walker?
Not that much.
All right then, watch some tape.
Okay.
Watch some tape. Nah, Scotty's
He's not
good.
Scotty.
So Evan
What's
Mobley in the month of February.
Got your ass.
I will say Evan Mobley started out offensively rough
Agreed.
to start the season. But in February, he averaged 19 and 9, the best points per game stretch he had all season. And since the new year, he's averaging 18 and 9, 3 assists, 1.5 blocks per game. He's first in box plus minus in win shares amongst 2021 draftees. So, yes, he has been the best sophomore in the NBA. You know, I think Houston right now probably is thinking that maybe they should have drafted Mobley over
They wanted
Green.
James Harden 2.0, bro.
Well, Jalen Green's not that.
Yeah, no
I
shit.
was never going to comp
No
Jalen Green
shit.
to that. But Evan Mobley this year starting in total contested shots, first in contested threes. It just goes to show his versatility. He's a good rim protector, but also he's stepping out and he's contesting the most threes of any player in the NBA right now. And he can switch 1 through 5, and he's what makes the Cavaliers defense goes. Now, his ascension is crucial to what the Cavaliers want to be come playoff time. I think they're about a year away. They have to shore up some holes on the roster. They don't have a backup big, and Bickerstaff loves going big for some reason. Jared Allen's out right now. Dean Wade has made 2 threes since Kevin Love got traded. He has not been reliable, and they don't have a really reliable center outside of Allen or Mobley that can step in and play those minutes.
I think Cleveland needs their ass whooped this year. And
Just to wake them up.
Yeah, and I need that in the most respectful way. Like they
by
need
the
to.
Knicks.
I don't think that would be the ass whooping. But I think a team.
New
needs to
York!
go- I think a team needs to go in there and whip their ass so they could just. All right, we needed that. Now let's lock in. We know what they are, especially Mobley. Like I feel like.
Are they still ECF bound?
You know what I said? I said if everything goes perfect. I did say that. Yes, I did. Yeah, everything goes perfect. If all those other teams knock each other out,
They need to get a like splash vet wing type of either trade.
Respect Okoro, please.
What if
He's
Okoro
the
came off
best
the bench?
player.
I was gonna say
He's the best
Okoro
player.
would be their best
Play
bench
something.
piece easily.
He's like a 24-minute.
You're a
type of
Danny
guy.
Green guy.
He's 36.
He's their best shooter. He's doing it in garbage time, but
This is their first year trying to figure it out,
Yeah.
go through the motions. Donovan Mitchell's still an amazing playoff performer. Garland, this is Garland and Mobley's first time in the playoffs. So, this is still a relatively
They were in
young
the
group.
play-in last year.
playing. Yeah.
I don't count the play-in.
Oh, is it because, ironically enough, Darius Garland was mid?
No, I think because you need 7 games.
He was great against the Nets,
Nets,
but
he was
against the
fantastic.
Atlanta, he was absolutely
Actually,
dog doo.
it's funny because you were talking shit during the Nets game, and then he showed you. He's
That's
actually
not what I
him.
was doing.
No. We were talking.
You said that he
we
was
were-
as good as Kyrie Irving.
No.
That's
You're
what you
lying.
said.
I said his handles. I said his handles. I said, yo, Garland handles is like that.
It's
You was
not
like,
Kyrie's.
And then you said, look, let me. You said, I don't know, Riv. You turned your head and you watched Garland bug out, and you was like, Riv, he's like that. That's exactly
That's not
what
I
happened.
just cut the cap.
All right.
He had an amazing game. You were disrespecting Kyrie.
Is Kyrie getting out the first round before Garland?
This- Fuck.
No. Answer's no.
No, it'll be a 4th seed. They'll play the Knicks. That'd be a fun series. I would love it.
I'll take the Cavs.
Against the Knicks?
Oh, you take the Knicks, right?
Yeah, I'm taking New York.
Oh, you never know.
Yo, that would be a great series.
That's really the only team you don't have an agenda for.
When
in the East.
Cavaliers are sealing a second round,
Yeah.
Florida's first round exit. They can lose in the first round
They could lose to the Knicks.
to Jalen Brunson.
They could.
I would be a travesty if they
Is
lose.
Brunson back?
Not yet.
If they lose to anybody outside the Knicks, would you be devastated?
Like who? The Nets?
Hawks, Heat, Nets. Yeah, any of those
I don't
three
think they'll
teams.
lose to those teams.
I'm saying if they did, though, would it be like a failure?
Jimmy
think
Butler
it's
can
the Knicks,
beat-
you're saying?
Jimmy Butler can win a
the
playoff
Cavs.
series.
Oh, yeah. Massive.
Like if they lose to the Nets, I'm losing my fucking mind.
I don't
sure.
think I wouldn't pick the Heat to win that.
I get it.
I don't-
But
I don't- I
I'm
don't
respecting
think,
Jimmy.
I don't think that wouldn't be like, oh
I
shit.
think I actually think the Heat would probably get smoked out of that series,
Think so?
like in 5 games.
I don't know, Spo. Yeah, 5.
I don't think Bam's gonna be able to do much. Tyler
Bam,
Hero's
yo, they
gonna
be
on
letting
and off.
Bam die under that rim with those 2 bigs, yo. They be I be feeling bad for
But
him,
Evan
bro.
Mobley has been the best sophomore. But Josh Giddey, 16, 8, and 6 this year. 48% from the field, 32% from 3 is up his 3-point percentage. Josh Giddey, man, watch out. Watch out for OKC's roster next year with SGA, Giddey, Williams,
Bro's got the most
Grady,
generic handles of
Grady
all
Dick,
time.
No, it's
Jet
truly dog shit.
Holmgren.
It's so impressive that he could score just going left and right.
That was one of my problems when coming out. I was like, yo, his bag sucks.
He has no bag.
It's
He's
like
a bad
this.
guy.
No, his bag is very me and Dehls like.
I have no bag.
Yeah,
No
it's just-
whatsoever.
It's like-
This is the last super chat we're reading, then we're going to end off the show. Austin Rich. Mobley is third currently in the DPOY ladder.
He's unbelievable. He's
As he
absolutely
should.
unbelievable.
Was it Brooke, Jaren Jackson, and him? Probably.
Yeah, I would say so. Or Giannis probably is there. This is going to do it for this episode of Pick Aside Podcast, episode 264. You guys can follow us on Twitter at Pick Aside Pod, on Instagram and TikTok at Pick Aside Podcast. Make sure to support our sponsors, Mojo, Boom Fantasy, Athletic Greens, AG1, and we'll be live on playback on Sunday. So make sure you guys tune in. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.